I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gargano Show!
Hello and good morning, everyone. Excuse me while we make a slight camera adjustment to start the day. Welcome into the Anthony Gargano Show. I am not Anthony Gargano. I am Jamie Lynch, filling in for the cuz who's out doing some spectacular dad duties and making sure the kids have a great summer. But filling in today and tomorrow, and then your director of fun and games, Bill Matz, will be leading the charge for the next week and a half or so here on the Anthony Gargano Show. But I hope everybody had a great Monday. I know Zack Wheeler had a great Monday. It was nice to look at Bryce Harper return to the lineup, even though the fanfare there didn't really follow. But overall, the Phillies had a good evening last night. Now, a couple things on the slate today. We're going to get into the NBA free agency period with Derek Bodner coming up at 9:30. I did text our GM Vince last night, and I said, which one of these Sixers guys is the morning guy? I know Devon's not really a morning guy. I know he joins us from time to time. And he said, Derek's definitely your morning guy. So I said, all right, let me just go to the morning guy today. They did an emergency pod last night. They had the 2-hour free agency frenzy. So I tapped into the morning guy. And Derek Bodner is going to join us at 9:30. And then the great Jim Salisbury is going to join us at 10 a.m. We got VG's Nugs. We got Back in the Day. We got some headlines to get to. But, of course, the show is presented to you by our friends over at Bet Parks. Right there on Street Road in Bensalem. Easy to get to from everywhere. Right off 95 and the Turnpike. Stop by Bet Parks. They got a ton of great stuff happening, from the Excite Center to the awesome restaurants to the Liberty Beer Garden, Sportsbook, you name it, they got it. And they're presenting the show today. Let's start off with the Philadelphia Phillies, because Zack Wheeler, I think he's getting into the territory. I don't want this to be a hot take because that's not my avenue in life. Since Steve Carlton, I think Zack Wheeler is approaching the best Phillies pitcher since Steve Carlton. I mean, Roy Halladay, you can say, was probably the placeholder there. Cole Hamels had a spectacular postseason. Kurt Schilling was great. Cliff Lee was great. You've had a lot of great pitchers here. But in his 6th season now with the Philadelphia Phillies, I believe, right? 5 or 6? 6? I think it's 6. 6th season, I think you can say Zack Wheeler is the best Philadelphia Phillies pitcher since Steve Carlton. And it's remarkable what he's doing. Last night, he goes 8 innings pitched for the first time this year, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. He was just dominant all night long. He had 19 swings and misses. His rarely thrown curveball, he threw 7 times last night for 6 swings and misses. That is just filthy, filthy stuff out of the Phillies ace last night. Zack Wheeler really cementing himself in Phillies legacy. Listen to his month of June that he just had. For the month of June, Zack Wheeler went 2-1 with a .58 ERA in 5 starts. He allowed just 2 earned runs over 31 innings pitched, struck out 42, and only walked 7 batters. He had a .87 whip in the month of June, and opposing batters versus Zack Wheeler hit just 180. You can do this for several stretches and moments of Zack Wheeler's career in the Phillies pinstripes. On Bobby Bonilla Day, which we'll get into a little bit, I thank the Mets for being an inept franchise that chose Matt Harvey and Noah Syndergaard over Zack Wheeler because he had a finger blister history in his past. The Phillies made not only perhaps their greatest signing ever, like when you compare Zack Wheeler to Bryce Harper in the end, Zack Wheeler is probably going to be the superior signing. He's that good. The Mets, thank you for screwing that one up. Really appreciate you there as the Phillies take a 2-game lead over the Mets in the NL East, on pace for 94.5 wins or something like that. So they could be in that 94-95 territory, especially if the bats wake up. All right, so that's the good. And the rest of the starting rotation is great. And we're going to get into Ranger Suarez today and Christopher Sanchez and the months they had. Actually, let me just lead you into the bad, giving you the good, some more good. Because the good on this team right now is Orion Kerkering. They're finding some ways to win games. I think 3 of their runs last night all came on balls that didn't leave the infield. You had the Castellanos homer that kind of sealed the deal for you there at 4-0. But they're playing some small ball. They're getting by. Ranger Suarez also had an excellent month of June. Now, this is from Jim Salisbury's article that just dropped this morning on allphly.com. And you should become a diehard if you haven't already. Tons of great perks. You get some free merch, like one of my favorites here that I'm wearing, the PHLY green shirt. We have a new line of shirts coming out shortly. So you get a free piece of merch. You get access to some of the best writers in the city, including Jim Salisbury. You get an invite to our Discord. You get discounts on events. Tons of great features for you. And it's a sale. And it's a great time to get in and become a diehard. Fran Duffy just dropped his top 10 college quarterbacks of the season. Lots of good stuff happening on there. Kyle Neubeck and Derek are giving you all the latest Sixers. Charlie O'Connor on the Flyers. I don't have to keep going on. You know it's good. It's a great time to get in on it. So this is from Jim's story this morning. Ranger Suarez also had an excellent month of June. He went 3-2 with a 1.30 ERA in 6 starts. Struck out 36 batters, only walked 7 in 41 2/3 innings. Christopher Sanchez in the month of June, a 1.85 ERA in 5 June starts. And this is all without one of their highest paid guys in Aaron Nola, who is apparently close to returning. The month of June was spectacular for the starting rotation of the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, they have a 2-game lead. Things are good, right? We shouldn't complain. I don't want to complain, but
don't do it.
The offense stinks a little bit, VG. The team in the month of June, I just read you all those numbers about the spectacular pitching staff and the starting numbers. I mean, you can't help but just bow down and be like, you know, Wayne's World, we are not worthy. We are not worthy. This is probably the best starting staff I've ever seen.
Oh, they rival 2011.
Yeah, they rival it.
Yeah.
I'll say 2011 and this
they're
are
right
the best.
there with it. Yep.
Okay, those numbers spectacular in the month of June.
Yeah,
they went 14-13.
It happens. You're including the bullpen. I mean, you got to worry about the bullpen.
I'm more worried about the offense than the bullpen because I think the bullpen is the easier thing to address.
All right.
I mean, I don't think there's any world where Dave Dombrowski doesn't address the bullpen this year.
Yeah, of course. And the offense is not bad. I mean, they're lacking a little bit of power, but I'll give you numbers. They're 8th.
You picking me up here?
Yeah.
What do we got?
They're 8th in Major League Baseball in hits.
Doesn't feel like it.
They're 11th in runs scored.
Need to see the facts on that.
They're the 10th best. They have the 10th lowest strikeout rate. Their on-base percentage is 4th in baseball, and they're 4th in walks. I mean, this is everything we've wanted. They're striking out way
boring
fewer.
As hell.
Yeah, but it feels terrible. But they're good.
I know they're good. But are they World Series good? Because that's all that matters at this point.
Yes, because you got to look at the landscape. I mean, we just saw the Yankees are in an offensive issue right now. The Mets stink right now. I think they're
that's pretty.
The last month they're the worst team in baseball.
Yeah,
the
it's
Mets.
pretty awesome.
We've seen the Padres go through slumps. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. I mean, they've been swept this year 3 or 4. They've lost like 4 in a row. They may have lost 6 in a row early in the season. It just happens, man. There's no one who's got it all together
giving me
right
the
now.
Jim Salisbury, baseball's a long season.
No,
is that what you're giving me?
No, I love the chaos of day-to-day baseball. Jim is the one who buzzkills our dramatic highs and lows. I can't wait to see if he's wearing his Dodger blue today.
Yeah. Well, it was a spectacular month from the staff, but to go 14-13 just feels like a wasted opportunity.
It's like the Yankee. It's like not having like Juan Soto if you're the Mets. I mean, they have Bryce Harper.
I mean, I think they're going to win the NL East. I think they're going to do okay in the playoffs, but this offense is so inconsistent.
Everybody's is. That's the whole thing, man. There's nobody who's the team this year.
I hate our outfield.
Our outfield.
Dude, Max Kepler, as soon as he complained about not giving being given the opportunity to start when he started like 87% of the games.
Yeah.
Like, get lost, dude.
And I love
you're batting 205 versus righties.
Yeah, and Topper's like, well, listen, if 1 game or 2 games throws your rhythm off, like you better work on something.
You got the wrong guy. Like, shut up, dude.
And I love seeing Bryce back. I am disappointed our man Otto is not on the field with this when Bryce is back. I would have rather just. I'd rather just see him instead of Kepler. I want to see Otto.
I think it's a platoon.
I know.
You know.
I know. I don't like the platoon.
I kind of want to Whit Merrifield.
If I got to go
Max
with
Kepler.
German, I got to go Otto over Kepler.
It's the better German, that's for sure. But I want to see Max Kepler, Whit Merrifield. I know they're not going to because it's more money than Whit.
I mean, they may.
They could.
Because on 1 year, it depends on what they get at the deadline. The thing is, if you look around the landscape, you think that Abel is a nice chip.
He's a nice trade chip now.
He works really well with the A's, who have a gluttony of DH outfielders. They are struggling and desperate for controllable young starting pitching. As opposed to there's that rumor going around with the Buccos and the Pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates have a ton of starting pitching in the minors. They need bats. So it actually they could actually trade with both teams and be okay. I could see them moving an Abel for one of these bats in the A's, and that would be fantastic. Soderstrom or Rooker. Rooker signed to a deal. They just signed him, but I don't think...
They don't need another like DH bad defensive player.
Yeah, they do. They just need a bat, dude. They just need a bat. You get a bat out there, you can have Rojas or Marsh floundering around out there.
This outfield just like sucks my soul out. When Brandon Marsh is your best player...
Yeah. You need to have a corner outfielder that's a consistent bopper. You just have to.
I mean, Castellanos
he's fine.
is what he is. Like, he's the one you worry about least. Like, Brandon Marsh, though, like, I feel like he's just going to revert back at the worst time to him.
Dude, have you seen the stat of him with, what is it, the BBEA, the batted balls in play average or something?
Yeah, BIP.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
He's like fourth all time. Like, when he puts a ball in play, he gets on base. He's
wild.
Like fourth after like Gehrig and Roger Hornsby. It's Brandon Marsh. Yes.
That's crazy. But it was a spectacular as we turn the calendar page to the month of July here. Happy July 1st. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Ka-ching. Love it, dude.
I'm so happy for this man that I don't know every July 1st.
I don't even know how old he is or how long. This goes on for like another
2035, I believe.
Another 10 years.
Yeah, another 10
Good
years
for him.
And not only does he get 1.1 something million
I
from
thought it was
the
like
Mets,
1.8.
It's 1.1 from the Mets, another 500K from the Orioles.
From
I have
the
a
Orioles.
chart for you guys.
You got the chart?
The Orioles are in on this?
Here we go. There's the Bobby Bonilla Day to all that celebrate. Great agent work by his guy back in the day. Bobby Bonilla received his first payment in 2011, and it's 1.041 million. Oh wait, am I reading?
That's the lump.
That's the lump.
Yeah, the annual payment is that like mustard color. It's a 95.2.
Where's the mustard?
The second line.
The second one. It's more like brownish than mustard.
Yeah.
Are you going spicy brown?
Spicy
mustard?
brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, spicy brown is the best mustard. I like a stone mustard too.
This is a confusing chart. Come on, Frazier.
So the
What? Come on.
that's from MLB
The
Savant,
charts?
I think. Isn't that from MLB Savant?
I think so, yeah.
It looks Savantish.
Yeah, I am no savant.
Yeah,
I don't know about our
respect that.
audience, but I am not a
You
savant.
need to be a savant to
I
read
respect the Savant pull. So Bobby Bonilla makes about
He makes
1.5,
1.19 million from the Mets.
and then 500K from the Orioles.
Good
This is
for
great.
him.
This might be the greatest agent work of all time.
It's amazing because you could just be crazy every year and
Yeah.
you know another 2 mils coming.
Dude, just imagine like every July 1st, you're like, let's go to like the south of France. Let's
Let's
go to
party.
Japan.
Yeah,
Let's go
man.
get a great dinner.
Do a
Like some of
wor-
the best food
you
in
can
the
do
world.
a trip around the world,
Yeah.
dude, and still
Every
have
July
a mil
1st,
left.
I'm partying. Bobby Bonilla, I am envious of you today. Kudos to you, sir.
Wait, the Orioles paying 500 G's for 25 years?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How do you get that? How do you get that? And like, what a trend
Dude, who is this agent? We should have tracked down this
He
agent.
needs to be in the Agent Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Does it say who the agent is? I didn't get that far.
No, of course, Bernie Madoff's involved in this. Of course, pushing it down. Like he's the one who owned. Was he in a Mets investor? At the
Yeah,
time?
he had the Mets.
Or the Mets invested in Bernie
Yes.
Madoff.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They were
Oh,
part
so
of
they
the
thought they were
Ponzi
going to get all this money coming
Yeah.
through.
Was it the Wilpons that invested, or prior to the Wilpons?
No.
Yeah, I watched the Bernie Madoff Netflix documentary recently. It's pretty good. But happy Bobby Bonilla Day. It's good to be Bobby Bonilla today. Just, check that bank account.
Bonilla's agent, Dennis Gilbert, was an insurance agent at the same time he developed into a super agent.
Wow.
He had Barry Bonds, Jose Canseco, Danny Tartabull.
Oh, he had all the juice heads.
Yeah, but being an insurance guy, though, like he understood annuity type payouts better than most other agents.
Good for him. It worked.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jose's still cashing checks. Probably not.
Probably not.
Dude, I saw a great picture. This is going to be a hard picture for you to find on the fly, but it was a picture of the A's locker room back in the day. You said Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
It's Jose Canseco with like the most pristine mullet I've ever seen.
Oh.
Sitting at a table. McGuire's like hunched over in his locker. And those dudes are just like jacked.
They got their shirts off. Or they just look big.
They just look huge. But there's a pitcher sitting behind McGuire, and he has like the 80s, 90s, like major league ice bags taped all over his body, where he looks like he's like fully like ready to play an NFL game. He's just like a bubble boy of like ice bags. It was such a
like
funny
an ice superhero, like an ice villain from the comic books.
It was very funny. It made me laugh.
What is a pristine mullet? I'm curious.
It's just I mean, it's great. It's just eliteness in a mullet.
Was it like the old school, like soccer style, like tight, high
like
and tight?
kind of like trimmed here and then like fell right behind the
Nice.
ear.
Yeah.
Jose,
Those are coming back.
mullets are back.
That type of mullet is coming back.
Really?
Yeah.
Canseco. Everything's cyclical.
Yeah.
You know, Jenko jeans are probably coming back too.
Oh man, they're also saying because Bonilla lives in Florida,
No state,
and he's not earning it currently in New York, it's also state tax free.
Wow, it's good work, Bobby Bonilla. What would you do every year? Travel
Dude,
the
I would
world?
just have the giantest party. Like I would have a weekend party, pay everyone to take off work to come out and hang out with me for like 2 or 3 days somewhere fun.
I think I found the picture.
Let me see.
1 second. Let me load
This
it
is
up.
just like such an
Let
old
me
school
load it up. I
baseball
don't know
thing.
if this is it, but let's see.
Let's take a look.
Here, 1 second. Let me get
Screw
it.
it. We'll do it live.
1 second. Let me get it on here.
If the guy's in like covered in ice bags,
It's in black and white.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Is it?
The guy's
Okay.
covered in ice bags. It's such an old school baseball picture. It made me laugh.
Let's see. Here we go.
Look at the guy behind McGuire.
Yeah, he looks like Thing, but with ice. That is a nice one. Look at the side.
You can't zoom in, can you?
Man,
Yeah, I
that
can zoom.
side work is
Zoom
nice.
in on that mullet. It's an elite mullet.
This looks like the backstage of WWE wrestling.
Look how crappy those locker rooms are.
I know.
Now you walk in and there's
Dude,
like,
what cleats are they? Brooksies?
look at that mullet, dude.
Look at that
Dude.
Look at it.
Look at the guy in the back.
Yeah, it's like Thing, but ice. Does he have a spoon hanging out his mouth?
Yeah. You eat some ice cream? Look, they're just drinking
Ice
beer.
cream, man. He's eating
Just
ice
drinking
chips.
beers. I just saw that picture and I was like, the guy iced up in the mullet.
That guy
That was
iced up is
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, he looks huge.
Solid mustache.
Both shoulders, an elbow, like
What-
everything.
What is he doing on both shoulders that he needs ice?
Maybe he threw with both arms. I don't know. It's wild. It makes me think of the old
Oh,
guy in
man,
Major League.
those guys, that dude needs to go to Rothman. Jeez. Got some issues.
All right. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. We'll be right back right after this, continuing talking about the Phils. And the Sixers made a move last night to kick off free agency. Derek Bodner is going to join the show in about 11 minutes to talk about a first name I've never heard before. Trendon?
Trendon.
Never heard that one before. So we got
Me
a
neither.
Trendon in town. We'll talk about that coming up next, right after we tell you about some friends of ours here at PHLY.
All right. Bet Parks Sportsbook. There is no other sportsbook in my world. We got the Padres sticking in town tonight. And I was looking today, what do they got going on at Bet Parks? You can get Zack Wheeler Cy Young Award plus 300. Pretty good money. Skeens is the favorite at minus 335, but Zack Wheeler plus 300, pretty good. They also got Ranger popping up here. The Phillies have 2 of the top 11 for futures for Cy Young. Ranger is 60-1. Christopher Sanchez 65-1. Let's see what we got doing for tonight. We got our old friend Nick Pavetta is in town tonight. Philly should be
Yes, can.
nice heavy favorite, minus 152. So they got a game combos. They got all that fun stuff over at Bet Parks. It's the only app you need for your sports betting. And check out their casino. They got other ways to win and to play. They got branded games like Huff and More Puff, Fireblaze Sky Queen. I like Betty the Yeti. I like Divine Fortune. And if you're not into slots, they got table games with live dealers. Blackjack, roulette, craps, poker. My favorite, Baccarat. Plus, they got hot online slots from your favorite TV shows, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders. And check this out. New users, you get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. So go to betparks.com and download the app right now. and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. And remember, you must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for Bet Parks. You love to play. You play to win. You bet Parks. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And if you're a soccer fan, we got Juventus versus Real Madrid and Dortmund versus Monterrey.
Well, you can't just tell us who we
Give us-
got.
yeah, give
who
us
you
a winner,
like,
bro.
Pick something.
Give me Madrid. Give me Monterrey.
All right. Holla.
Ooh, Monterrey. You're going to dog?
Sergio Ramos.
Are they the dog, Monterrey? Yeah, plus 390. You going on a dog pick?
I'm going on a dog pick. Sergio
Ooh,
Ramos.
That's good money. We got a Pico spot. Yeah, our good friends at
Yes,
Pico
we have
helping
Pico
us save
coming
some
now.
You got
money.
your coffee this morning?
Anthony Gargano, PHLY, VG. My brother, you look hot.
Dude,
I mean, I feel kind of hot too, to be honest with you.
dude, my house is like a sauna meets a steam room. It's insane. This heat's unbearable.
Well, look, this Philly heat is no joke. It's summertime, man.
Dude, if I could tell you, I stood with my head in the freezer for 10 minutes before I left the house today. Disaster.
Brother, just turn on the AC. How come you just don't turn on your air conditioner?
Trying to save some cash, man. Save the world. Save the climate. Go green. All that stuff.
Listen, I feel you. Do yourself a favor. I got your answer.
All
All
right.
right? Like, do it solid. Check out Pico's energy saving rebates. All right, they've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work and cut your bills.
So you're telling me no more freezer head?
No, not unless you want to look like a freezer head.
No, I'm good.
All
This is
right?
great news.
I'm serious. You're good, man. Trust me. Just head to pico.com/ways to save. They got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it. It's Pico. We love Pico.
I'm in.
And thanks to our friends at Pico. Of course, the show is brought to you by our friends over at Bet Parks, right there on Street Road in Bensalem. Easy to get to from everywhere. All right, VG, the Sixers made a move last night, and kudos to our Sixers team.
Thank God for the Sixers team, because I have no idea who this guy
same
is.
exact way.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
saw the image go out of Trendon Watford, and
Yeah.
I went,
what?
who?
Yeah.
I will raise my hand. I choose not to watch Brooklyn Nets basketball when I have the opportunity.
I agree.
Only when they played the Sixers.
The guy puts up 10 points a game. I was like,
He
wow.
kind of had a year a little bit.
Yeah.
Brooklyn made him, and we'll get into this with Derek Bodner in a couple minutes here. Dating back to LSU, the thing that he kind of did best was his driving ability.
Mhm.
He's not really an above the rim type of finisher, but he is kind of like that 6'7" 3/4", 6'8" guy
Fits-
with the 7'2" wingspan.
Yeah.
Gives you that wing size. They're desperate for a 3-4.
Fits right in
on
with
the team.
Janai Broom with the below the rim play. I mean, they gotta type their golf for this
Hey,
year.
you got to be a trendsetter sometimes, and maybe they're going for wings. that
Allegedly,
can't
he's
get
a
above
great
the rim.
passer.
Yes, Kyle, I heard Kyle and Devon talking about his hands a lot.
Got a
last
little bit of
night.
a handle, they say.
Yeah, he can handle the ball. He's got length and size. He's a willing defender, and he has a nice touch and a nice vision to him. Emerged, as you made reference to there, a double-digit score last year with Brooklyn. Brooklyn did make him the primary ball handler at
So
times.
bizarre. When I read that, I was
crazy
like,
to me.
what?
And
Yeah, hopefully
again,
we don't need that here.
yeah, you can all read up on Watford from Kyle Newbeck, article up on allphly.com explaining the fit. But there's a desperation at the 3-4 position. They don't really have a lot of it. They need it. A lot of people are speculating, and Derek and Kyle kind of agreed that it doesn't necessarily close the door on Yabusele, but
feels
it
like it.
does kind of seem unlikely now.
Yeah.
Like financially, Yabusele is still possible, but it feels like
They seem fairly similar, except for
like kind of same type of guy.
It was interesting. I mean, there was some Nets reaction, and Nets fans like this guy. They say he's underrated, sneaky. It's a sneaky good
He
move.
could be one of these like emerging later.
Yeah.
You know, he's 4 years through the league now. Didn't have a lot of opportunity his first 2 years, and you know, he could also be somebody that shined on a bad team. You know, that is a real possibility. But for $5 million for 2 years, I see absolutely zero problem with this signing.
And he's like Maxie's one of his best buds, which is super important.
Are
I
they
think.
boys from Texas?
I don't know how they know
I
each
meant
other.
to look that up last night, and I couldn't find it. But Tyrese was excited online last night, tweeting about his boy. He played at LSU, obviously Max in Kentucky, so I'm assuming either AAU or Texas ties.
Because Watford is he's a 5-star recruit out of Alabama before he went to LSU, so I don't know how they know each other.
Maybe AAU or the basketball circuit, whatever. They're boys. Tyrese is happy. You would think a guy that just kind of emerged a little bit last year, a double-digit scorer, still only 24 years old, could get a little more than $5 million with the way NBA hands out money.
You would think it doesn't seem like a lot at all.
Seems like
I figure if you put up 10 points a game, you're getting like 20 mil.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I saw 2 years, $5.3 million, and I
thinking,
went,
this
that's
guy,
free.
2 points a game.
Yeah,
I was like 10.
Imagine the league where $5 million is free.
Dude, right?
Like that's hardly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's couch change.
It's the craziest. And I like when you had that point. Yeah, we had that point yesterday with Kyle about Grimes. I mean, you almost just need to pay him 20 so you can throw him in and trade if you want to in the future. Like you just need guys. The contracts are so bloated at this point.
Yeah, and Grimes' contract came up on the emergency pod by the Sixers team last night, which wrapped at 11:30 p.m. Addie was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I'm watching a Watford emergency pod from the Sixers guys. Okay, it's very important."
Yes, Trendon Watford.
But Grimes did come up because Vince's boy and NAW signed with the Hawks for close to 20 per. And Derek and Kyle were talking about it, and we'll talk to him in a minute. And he was just like, "Yeah, Grimes ain't taking less than 15. That's what that deal tells me." So, this is a world where Quentin Grimes, it's a bizarro world because all of a sudden the Sixers now have 4 young guards you feel pretty good about, assuming that he stays. And Grimes is going to be making like $18 million a year. Like,
it's weird because like Oubre's option is like 8. Yeah, that feels cheap too.
It does a little bit, and he's going to be primarily your starting 3. I guess Watford is going to have a good opportunity to start at the 4, and then Joel.
Wait, Paul George, man, you forgetting about PG?
Yeah,
you traded him out. You traded him out.
I have forgotten.
He
about
ain't coming
him.
off the bench.
Andrew, I'm going to give you an assignment before Derek gets on here. I saw Joel Embiid on Instagram yesterday.
Oh, he's active now after that one
picture? The first sighting I've seen, and I forgot to tell you pre-show, so I apologize.
He was at the link last week for a game. He popped up
he
on a picture.
He was there with Arthur.
Yeah.
Now, this was a Philly goat project. Now, his charity got involved with the Philly goat project, which I believe teaches like urban farming, and it works with goats, and they clean up like landscapes and all the schools. And he took his son. He looked a little slimmed down. I'll give him that. I'm a little shook. There's no update yet.
Was it on Instagram?
Yeah, it was on Instagram. Look for like Philly Goat Project or something like that.
Was it on?
We're like 9 weeks out from the 7 or 8 weeks
from kickoff.
We'll be reevaluated in 7 to 8 weeks, type of thing.
Yes,
and we still haven't heard anything. I'm a little shook.
I kind of like it though, because How many times do we see like Ben in the lab? I don't want to see any of that. Just come out, and be ready to go.
He's still putting summer workout videos out.
Came out last week.
Does this dude just like?
But I want the opposite. And B, just hide him, make him come back, and be back to normal.
I wish I could feel good about his future.
The chat is so crazy. I don't even know what's going on. You just scroll down. We're talking. I just see bruschetta is a good summer food.
Oh, I love bruschetta. What's up? We're talking bruschetta in here today?
I love bruschetta.
Derek Bodner. Maybe he likes bruschetta. We'll talk to him in a minute.
So random.
That's like my mom's favorite food.
Really?
Bruschetta?
Yeah, bruschetta. Like if it's on a menu, she's always making it in the summer.
With the toast? You put it on the toast?
Crostinis?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You two Irish guys talking about it.
Oh. You think Anthony Gargano knows crostinis?
No,
He's never eaten a crostini in his life.
No, he can't even. He hasn't touched
He's
the crostini.
probably anti-bruschetta.
How would you be anti-bruschetta? It's
so
good.
It's so good. God, now I'm hungry. All right, is Mr. Bodner with us?
He's here. His camera's off, though.
Oh,
and he's here.
He just heard me call out his name. Well, Derek Bodner is going to be the big deal today, presented by Cherry Hill Kia. The big deal presented by Cherry Hill Kia is brought to you by the start of Sixers free agency. The big deal, get yourself over to the Cherry Hill complex, Jeep, Ram, Kia. They got it all for you over there in Cherry Hill. So go check it out. Let's welcome into the show for the big deal today, Mr. Derek Bodner. Does a great job on the PHLY Sixers team. Derek, I don't want this to be weird, But a little late night Sixers action. I had you on in the boudoir last night, watching you in bed.
Well, that is weird. I do want to say I don't want to tell you how to talk to our ad partners, but I have never been and never will be the big deal.
Don't
Still,
sell
I
yourself
appreciate
short,
it.
Derek. You're always a big deal. But great work last night. And Derek, I will be honest. When Trendon Watford was signed, I went, who? And then I
we're
went,
watching a
well,
whole lot of Brooklyn Nets games the last 2 years.
I went, we have a Devon Givens here who's probably locally watched more Brooklyn Nets games than anyone in this area. Let me tune into the Sixers Emergency Podcast. We were just talking about it, reading up on them. Kyle's got a story out on allphly.com. I heard you and Kyle and Devon batting it around last night. It seems like a absolutely low risk, high upside for $5 million in NBA money that's essentially free. It seems like a good move at a position of need for the Sixers.
Yeah, and it is, $5 million, $2.4 million starting point. It is literally a minimum contract. So those are contracts you have to have on your book. So yes, it is pretty much literally free. And, we can sit here and go over what he can't do. And it's pretty easy to come to a conclusion. Like, he makes 1 3-pointer every 2 games. And people are going to say, like, oh, he doesn't shoot enough. It's hard to get him on the court. And look, I'd love for him to shoot. If he could shoot, he wouldn't be making the league minimum salary. Whenever you're starting to, sort of pull free agents from this pool, you are going to have pretty massive flaws. I do think he has some pretty unique skills, especially for a 6'9" forward who can at least rebound a little bit. Like, he's not going to clean up their problems on the glass, but I don't think he's going to make the problems worse. And he's got some real perimeter skills. He can create a little bit off the dribble. He's probably one of the team's better passers already, which is part an indictment on the team, but also he's got some unique skills. He can finish near the rim. I think he's got some stuff to work. He's not a nuclear athlete. He's not going to wow you in that regard. Like I said, the shooting, even when he's making shots, he had 2 years in a row there where he was shooting in the upper 30s from 3-point range, but it's on such a low volume. And he hesitates enough where I think defenses are going to continue to help off of him. So he's not going to be like a real legitimate floor spacer, but I think he's got some skills to work with at a positional need. And with a contract that, like I said, is literally the league minimum. So there's almost no downside to it.
So would you say the best thing he brings to the team is his ability to drive to the basket and therefore maybe pass and hit some open shooters? Is that what he's going to bring to the team right away? Not spacing per se, but a lot of driving kicks?
Yep. No, the face-up game, getting to spots off the dribble, the playmaking that comes out of that, even a little bit of pick and roll initiation, which again for a 6'9" guy is pretty unique. I think those are his most immediate skills. Love to see more shooting. The defense is solid. He's 6'9" with a 7'2" wingspan. He doesn't move his feet great, so I don't think he's going to be like a shutdown defender. I think he has enough physical tools. He shouldn't be a complete liability on that end, though. But yeah, certainly the face-up game, dribble drive game, playmaking, I think that's where you start off with.
So I just completely brain farted.
Oh, good. Let me ask you, Derek, I'd say a question. For me, you're the numbers guy. It seems like a guy who averages 10 points a game, like a minimum contract, seems really cheap. Is that true in today's game?
It's true. I think it's a little bit like Quentin Grimes, where people look at the production he had in the second half of the season and go, that wasn't real basketball. They weren't even trying to win games. Nobody came out and really game planned for him. I think there's a little bit of that with Brooklyn too, where you look at it and you're like, yeah, man, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Those should get you not a huge contract, but a little bit more than a minimum, maybe or a portion of one of the mid-level exceptions. I think people look at what happened in Brooklyn and go like, they haven't played real basketball in a while. We're not really going to buy into it. You add on the fact that, people, I think, really value that 3-point shot and putting, I don't want to say non-shooters, because like I said, he shot 35% from 3-point range for his career, but reluctant shooters, I think it's tougher and tougher and tougher to make those work in today's NBA. Teams have just gotten so good at knowing who they can help off of to make your star's life more difficult, who they're, comfortable recovering back out to because they're not really looking to take that shot anyway. And he sort of fits that bill. So yeah, I think it's a cheap deal, and that makes it a no-risk deal. I would have expected him, get a portion of maybe the taxpayer mid-level. But like I said, I think there is just a sentiment out there that Brooklyn wasn't playing actual NBA basketball. So, I don't think people necessarily buy what he was doing.
Is he kind of similar to a Janai Broom in the sense that they seem like they are not the most athletic, but play like a more of a savvy, smarter old man game in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, he's a little more of a perimeter focused Janai Broom. Janai, especially in college, wanted to operate out of the post, wanted to operate out of maybe sort of like that DHO game or initiate. Watford wants to create a little more off the dribble. So I think there's a little bit of difference there. But in terms of using his, knowledge, using his feel for the game to get to his spots over sheer athleticism, yeah, I think there's some to that.
So Derek, the thing I completely brain farted on there was the Yabusele trickle down effect. I heard you guys talk about it. While financially it doesn't eliminate Yabusele from returning to the Sixers, it does kind of seem optically that it does close the door some on that possibility of a reunion. What's your read on that situation?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've talked to people. They've expressed pessimism about bringing Yabusele back. I think that's more that they expect Yabusele to get more because the Sixers, because of weird financial nonsense mumbo jumbo that I won't try to get too deep into here, can basically only offer Yabusele a starting salary of up to $5.7 million. And I think really what's happening is they've expressed pessimism that will be enough to bring him back. So I think it's more that, I don't want to say that the Watford signing indicates anything too much because this doesn't impact their cap situation at all. This was a slot they were going to have to fill anyway. It's for the league minimum. No financial impact really in that regard. But I think the timing of the report is more that it's just they don't believe that what they had to offer is going to be enough to bring it back, more so than this signing actually impacting it.
I assume the next thing that's going to happen for the Sixers is Quentin Grimes. I heard you guys talk about NAW's signing with Atlanta last night and what that kind of means financially for Grimes. I believe it was you that was like, there's no situation where he's going to take less than $15 million per now. What do you see in terms of a number there? And what do you see as far as like the timeline of that situation?
Yeah, I mean, most of the teams that had cap space at this point have used it. Most notably Brooklyn, a little bit with the Pistons as well. They could have generated some cap space depending on what decisions they made with their current free agents, but they have both gone in different directions. Neither right now can offer the $25 million per year that Grimes camp was unrealistically asking for when this whole process began. And, that's just a public negotiation. That's like an anchoring point. I don't think anybody expected him to get $25 million, but it's nowhere near out there for him right now. In fact, really finding anyone with cap space above that $14.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level is going to be tough. So Grimes kind of has two decisions. He can either take let's say a 4-year, $68 million that maybe starts at like 15 or so million dollars just so you can say you got more than you could have gotten from any other team. He can do that. Or he can try to take a qualifying offer, which is like an $8.7 million offer for this year and say, I think I can get more money next year. Maybe I think I can get that 4-year, $100 million deal next year when more teams have cap space. That'd be a huge risk on his end. I don't know what his appetite for that risk is. But if the Sixers end up paying more than the $14.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level, it's more to try to prevent him from taking that risk than it is actually bidding against any other team. You're almost bidding against the opportunity cost that he is turning down by not trying to pursue next year.
On that, so if he was to take a qualifying offer, Derek, is there enough opportunity and minutes here for him to earn that? Do you think he's roadblocked at all if he was to gamble on himself?
Well, that's a huge concern. He will never put up the stats that he put up last year, at least not over the course of the next couple of years, certainly not next year. If the Sixers have any semblance of health, last year happened because the Sixers had no health. Hopefully you're getting Tyrese Maxey back in the lineup regularly, Jared McCain back in the lineup regularly, Paul George back in the lineup, BJ Edgecombe. So he will not have the opportunity. That's some of the risk there. I do think fundamentally if he ends up getting paid 15, 16, 17 million dollars, that was boosted by his performance last year, but you're not paying him to repeat that performance. If people believed in him as like a 22-5-5 guy, he'd be making $30-35 million per year. I don't think the market believes in that. So he can get to like $15 to $17 million next summer without having to replicate his stats from this past year. But it's a huge risk. I think it's a huge risk just for injury. It's a huge risk for perception that maybe he took a step back. And it's a huge risk that money is actually going to be out there. So I think, the Sixers have quite a bit of leverage here. The question is how close to reality Grimes and his camp are.
Derek, you know the cap and that whole financial world better than anyone I've ever met in my life. What kind of money do the Sixers have cap-wise? And is it enough to do anything to sign a name that like a casual fan would know?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So basically there's two mid-levels to use. Depending on which one you use, you get hard capped at various thresholds. The Sixers cannot use the bigger one, which is that $14.1 million one. that we set as the baseline for Quentin Grimes. They can still sign Quentin Grimes because of bird rights. You don't have to use an exception, but they don't have that one to use on an outside player. They do have a smaller mid-level, which is right around $5.7 million. And that hard caps you at a higher salary threshold. But even that, depending on what Quentin Grimes gets, it's going to be tough to use that entire thing. So they can use a couple $1 million. Maybe, I think if they can move Andre Drummond, which I think they are trying to do, but if you can dump Andre Drummond's contract onto another team, then you have a chance of using that full $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level exception. That is really the upper bounds of what they'd be able to spend on a free agent that is not their own.
Derek, I really don't want to see Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon back, as well as Andre Drummond. Just a personal thing for me.
I get that.
It's so weird.
It seems like they are all trending towards coming back. Is Kyle Lowry like a good culture guy that they like having in the locker room? Is there something outside of on the court play at this point in his career that they really kind of cherish?
Yeah. I mean, look, it is like Andre Drummond had a player option. So it was his choice to come back. Now, hopefully you can find a team where like you give them a second round pick down the line and they're willing to absorb that contract, because you already have, pretty good center depth behind Joel Embiid and Adem Bona, and especially now with Broom. You don't need a fourth center, especially a fourth center who can't play alongside your other options. So I think moving him is a priority, but we'll see whether or not they can do that. Eric Gordon's a weird case because basically they can decrease their cap hit by about $1.1 million on Gordon's contract if he opts out and comes back on a 1-year deal. So they're very well made. He may have been like, well, look, I'm coming back. I can either come back at a $3.5 million cap hit, or I can come back at a $2.4 million cap hit. That's your call. So they might have to do solid by him just by honoring that agreement that they made. Lowry's the one where if he comes back, I'm just going to have my Joker moment. There's absolutely no reason for him to be back on this roster. You mentioned clubhouse and setting an example for the young kids. The NBA has designated roles for players like that. They even let you sit on the bench. It's called a coach. I don't need him using my cap space. I don't need him using my roster spot. I don't need him potentially getting into a game when he cannot play NBA basketball anymore. So that is the one where, like, if they use a roster spot on that, I will just lose my mind. There's just no need to. It would be a completely self-inflicted wound. But Nick Nurse loves him, so we'll see.
Yeah, it almost feels like they want to steal some of that Heat culture and get the Udonis Haslem role here with Kyle Lowry or something. Yeah. I don't quite get it. Derek, what was your big takeaway outside of the Sixers and NBA free agency yesterday? It seems like a pretty tame and lame free agency period this year. What surprised you? What do you think was good value yesterday? Any extensions catch your eye? What was your big takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest news is Jaren Jackson Jr. getting that massive deal. I think everyone expected that, but that gives them, a better foundation to then move on to the next phase of their Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. timeline. So I think that is the biggest news. The biggest news that impacts the Sixers is, the Brooklyn Nets acquiring Michael Porter Jr. Basically, they use some of their cap space to take him back and send out a cheaper contract to Denver. So Denver has been able to, have Cam Johnson use a portion of their mid-level. They had real depth problems, so I think that's interesting as well. And then the Spurs signing Luke Cornett, that has always been the biggest Yabusele threat. And they used up, I think they still have about half of their mid-level exception left, so they're still a threat. But you wonder whether or not they're going to go for another big. It has certainly been a quieter free agency period than I think a lot of people were expecting. I think, and part of that's because people are expecting trades, but you had the KD trade already happen. Giannis hasn't been on the move as of yet. So I think that tampered it down a little bit. But also people are just a little bit more uneasy giving out these contracts to mid-level players because of all of the apron nonsense that we've talked about. So I think it just dampens the enthusiasm for free agency a little bit. But, we'll see. There's still time left.
Do you see any scenario where Daryl Morey gets really creative and thinks outside the box and there's some kind of trade involving the Sixers roster, or do you think they're pretty well set?
I would guess not. I think if there's going to be a trade, it's probably going to be an in-season trade, because of a couple cap reasons. It's basically really tough. You don't right now have any real matching salary. You have Drummond and Kelly Oubre Jr. And outside of that, you got to get up to your stars. And I certainly there's people watching this who would love for the Sixers to trade some of their stars, but I don't think Daryl Morey's going to do that. So in order to, it's really tough to make significant moves, trades at this point. Now, one thing with Quentin Grimes, if you sign him to $15, $17 million, all of a sudden you've got a lot more matching salary in a trade. You don't want to do that in a sign and trade right now because there are hard cap implications for both the team that sends out the player in a sign and trade and also the team that receives it. So I think maybe you wait, towards January and February, see what you need, and then it's a little bit easier to aggregate some of these salaries in a trade. Use some of those draft picks that you still have because you signed Paul George last year and maybe be aggressive then. But I would guess if there's a significant move to come, it's probably more in the January, February timeline, not over the summer.
Derek, if they find a taker for Drummond, do you think they sign another cheaper backup center, or they just go with what they have on the roster?
I think you'd probably look for someone who maybe can play a little bit more of a 4-5 combo role. Play a little bit alongside not alongside, but in addition to Watford in that power forward spot, but who can also play center in a pinch when Joel Embiid goes down. I think you're probably looking for someone more in that role because, like I said, a lot of the options the Sixers currently have, from Bona to Drummond to even Broom a little bit with the outside shot, I worry whether or not you can play them alongside a second traditional big. So somebody like someone who was signed yesterday, but obviously he's not available now, but someone like Jake LaRavia that the Lakers signed, someone in that mold who can play a little bit of a 4-5 hybrid role.
So definitely not Bol.
Probably not Bol, yeah.
Ben
Even though it would
Simmons,
be
though.
fantastic and a great story. But
Yeah, maybe Ben Simmons and his bad back. So Derek, I asked Kyle yesterday, outside of VJ Edgecombe, who are you most going to be paying attention to in Summer League? I think it's a long shot that Jared McCain actually plays.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the risk. But who is Derek Bodner going to be honing in on outside of VJ Edgecombe this summer?
No, and based on the conversations that I've had, I would be surprised whether or not Jared McCain. I would be surprised if Jared McCain plays. They actually have their first training camp practice or first summer league practice coming up here at right about noon, so pretty soon. So we will get a little more information on that. But I would be a little bit surprised. I think Justin Edwards, if he plays, I'm really excited to see him and the leap he makes this year in year 2. Last year, he really struggled at summer league, to the point where I wasn't 100% convinced he was going to make the roster. He struggled that much. Obviously, it turned out completely differently. He played really well throughout the course of the season, got converted to an NBA contract towards the end, actually ended up having that option decline, so he could then sign a 3-year deal here over the summer. But the leap that he takes, a lot of times you come into summer league, and this is probably something to remember when VJ Edgecombe, goes to Vegas. A lot of times you struggle at the beginning. And Jared McCain was awful last year at Summer League, shooting like 24% from the field or something like that. I remember coming away from Summer League and going, though, I think that kid's going to be legit, mostly based off of how he worked in practices and the effort he put in and the attention to detail he was showing. But I think Summer League tends to be a real tough environment for rookies who have been basically, training for the draft and working out and trying to hone their skills. I think you can get to this point, and it's a pretty big adjustment. But Edwards now in year 2, I'm curious to see how he handles that. And of course, VJ and whatnot, we're all excited to see as well.
All right, last one for you. Explain the little LeBron James situation to me like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah, thank you.
The LeBron situation?
Does he play for the Lakers next year? Is he a Cleveland Cav? Can they even match money? Does he want out? What is Rich Paul cooking, Derek?
I mean, look, he's certainly putting out hints that he's not completely against potentially moving. I think he's very perceptive of his image and maybe doesn't want to come out and say it directly. He also, I think, realized there wasn't $50+ million out there on the market for him. So he pretty much had to opt into that contract. Opting into a contract or even signing a new contract in today's NBA does not mean you are necessarily committed to the team. It means you're committed to the contract, and stars have the leverage to get to where they want to go. Look, you can certainly read between the lines and say he's probably not happy on a team in the Lakers who are focused a little more on the long term they are on the upcoming season. At 40-41, it is understandable to have that viewpoint. So yeah, I think I'm certainly not saying he is going to ask out, but I think pretty much anything wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Are there suitors though? Because I heard Bobby Marks yesterday on ESPN say he's talked to a couple teams and everybody is vehemently saying no chance. He's still a good player, obviously. $52.5 million is a good chunk of change. But are there actual suitors out there?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think somebody will take a chance on it. I think the bigger problem is it is just so hard to match salary in today's NBA because there are so many teams who, once you get over a certain salary threshold, you literally cannot aggregate salary in a trade. So it becomes a lot more difficult. A lot of teams can't take back more salary in a trade then they send out. So there are so many restrictions that even if there are teams that are interested, it becomes just more difficult to make a move. That being said, I would expect somebody would be willing to take that chance. Yeah.
What is the actual wiggle room with salary matching? Isn't there like a $5 million window or something? Like, what is the actual range you need to be within?
So it's a sliding scale.
Is this too technical, or are we about to get way too nerdy here?
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'd have to go back and look for a certain, like, if you send out between like $5 and $10 million, you have to be within $5 million. But at a certain point, it goes to 120% of what you send out. But then there are also teams, if you're over one of the aprons, and you cannot take back more salary than you send out. Then if you're over the second apron, you cannot aggregate. So combine 2 salaries to take back 1 salary. It's a complete disaster. Pretty much what I'm saying is how much salary you can take back in a trade depends and varies almost from team to team.
Have you read the CBA?
Yeah.
Front to back?
Yeah.
Like,
not front to back. I read sections of it and I go back and reference sections of it. And honestly, the toughest thing is, because I've been doing this long enough now, there's like 4 different iterations of the CBA jumbled in various parts of my brain, and I mix them up all the time. So I keep pretty extensive notes that I have to go back and reference to make sure I'm not screwing it up.
You should release the CBA for dummies, just sell that to them.
Derek,
There used to be a great one. Larry Kuhn used to do it, but now he charges for classrooms, so he doesn't make that publicly available anymore.
the salary cap seems like such an easy thing. Why is this? How and why did it become so complicated and convoluted?
I don't know.
Well, Mark Cuban was touting yesterday that he's responsible for some of these exceptions.
I actually don't understand all these aprons and exceptions. It is wild.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think they've gotten a lot of really creative GMs who have pushed the envelope and found loopholes to exploit, and they just trying to keep plugging those loopholes. And also, like, the latest bit with all the aprons and all that nonsense. I think originally they thought, well, if we just impose a strict luxury tax and a punitive luxury tax, teams won't be able to spend their way to a title. And then the Golden State Warriors happened and proved that to be not true. And then the Boston Celtics were scheduled to be a $500 million team this year because of all their tax penalties. And they realized we actually need some incentives that are not financial based. So like limiting the moves that you can make to limit spending. And I think they're trying to do that, but it's gotten to the point where it's like fans don't know what teams are allowed to make what moves, and it's hurting the product, that you're so invested in. And I think with the NFL, one of the reasons it's so successful, there's a billion reasons, but one of the reasons is that's a 12-month event, and the offseason is almost as big as a regular season. And the NBA was trending towards that. And I think maybe they've, the interest has been decreased a little bit because it's so convoluted, and also because teams are it's tougher to make moves, especially in the summer in free agency. So I wonder if there's some unintended consequences here.
All right, great stuff, Derek. We appreciate you explaining all of that to us. Make sure, if you're not a diehard already, you become one. There's a sale going on. You can get all the great writings of Derek and Kyle, not to mention the rest of the staff. But it's been a great draft free agency opening. Expectations are low for something exciting happening, but you guys do a great job covering the team, and everybody should become a diehard today. Mr. Derek Bodner, thank you. And you, of course, are always a big deal here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you, Derek. There he is, the big deal presented by Cherry Hill Kia.
I'm just so overwhelmed by the whole cap stuff.
I'm spinning.
Thank God for the trade machine.
Thank
God
God for
put
him.
names. Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Because he dumbs it down for you to a level where you're like, he's like, don't worry about that. Like, that's too much. Just think about like this.
Yes.
To read the CBA and to understand it,
God bless him. I don't know if the budget's not big enough here to have me read the CBA. There's no chance I'm reading that.
No. Do you know how many pages it is?
I can't imagine. It's got to be a giant binder.
It's got to be huge.
A giant binder.
Is Daryl Morey just
he's never read it.
Oh, he's read it.
Daryl Morey?
You think? You don't
no
think?
Chance.
Yeah, he's read it.
What?
He's one of these Sloan nerds.
He's got people who
He's got
do that.
people that do that.
He contributes to the
He's
CBI.
got people.
He's not reading that.
He understands.
He's got people who tell them
Get
what
Derek
to
back
ask
on here. I
for.
guarantee you Daryl Morey knows
No
that
way.
CBI front to back.
He's got a team that goes through that.
Yes,
thing
he's
and
got
they give him the
people.
highlight
You guys are
points.
wrong.
He's got lawyers.
You guys are
and
wrong.
come
he's
on,
not-
man.
he's not-
He knows that thing front to back.
He hasn't even cracked the binder.
Oh, stop it. You guys are a bunch of haters. All right, we got to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk to the great Jim Salisbury right after we tell you about some friends of ours here at PHLY. And that, of course, is our friends over at Cherry Hill Kia. If you're looking for an amazing deal and super low lease payments in this economy, yes, well, Cherry Hill Kia of cherryhill.com is the place to be. They're celebrating Memorial Day savings all month long. And on their massive selection of over 450 new Kias to choose from, they have over 40 Tellurides, over 100 Sportages, over 35 Carnivals, and over 75 Seltoses, and over 80 Souls. Kias are all over the roads these days. Our own Bo Wolf is a Kia man here at PHLY. Nice. Yeah, they're nice cars, man. I got to tell you, Kia is the hottest automotive brand in the country for a reason. 7 of their models received the 2025 Car and Driver Editor's Choice Awards. That's amazing, considering there was more than 450 models tested, and only 20 models industry-wide received this award. Combine that with the best warranty in the automotive business, 10 years, 100,000 miles. I love a powertrain warranty, don't you? And 5 years, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper coverage. Stop in today and tell them PHLY sent you and receive a $100 restaurant.com gift card just for taking a test drive or completing a trade appraisal. I know people buy Kias elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Kia today, just minutes from all bridges, and available online 24/7 at kiaofcherryhill.com.
And you hear us talk about Rothman Orthopedics all the time. Rothman saved basically my life and kept me walking and moving with a broken neck. And Rothman saved our own Frazier from lots of pain with his neck. Rothman, they get you back to what you love. And especially this summertime, you want to be there. Like whether you're biking to Schuylkill, chasing kids through the sprinkler, or tackling that hiking trail, it's tough when your body doesn't cooperate, even if it's just tough getting out of bed some mornings. That's where Rothman Orthopedic comes in. From aches after a pickup game to old injuries flaring up on summer adventures, Rothman's team of experts is here to help. With evidence-based care and a commitment to improving and restoring your mobility, they get you back out there stronger than ever. So don't let pain put a pause on your summer fun. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to book your appointment today and get back to doing what you love and doing it pain-free. Rothman Orthopedics, getting you back to your summer game is their mission.
All right, this is the Anthony Gargano Show, presented by our friends over at Bet Parks, right there on Street Road in Ben Salem. Easy to get to from everywhere. Andrew, before we get to Jim, can you get the Bet Parks Ranger Suarez odds graphic up for us?
I certainly can.
We talked about at the beginning of the show, VG, Ranger Suarez. He's been my sweet, darling baby boy. I've loved Ranger since the beginning.
Little cutie pie.
A little cutie. Just want to squeeze those cheeks.
Yeah.
He's just great. And like seeing him in the locker room recently after a start, talking about this is his club and this is where he wants to be.
Yeah.
You know, he dazzled on Sunday. Is that Sunday? My calendar timeline is all running together in my head, in my dumb brain. I believe that's Sunday. So I wonder, because at this point, at this time last year, you know, Ranger Suarez had entered the Cy Young race.
Yeah.
And it's never a question of what he's giving you on the mound. It's more the durability when it comes to Ranger. We've seen him thrive in the bullpen as a starter and middle relief. He's just like one of the coolest dudes I've ever seen on a pitching mound. And I went, did he enter the Cy Young race? So I went to Bet Parks and I looked it up. And if you look third from the bottom down there, right above Christopher Sanchez, one Ranger Suarez has entered the competition at plus 6,000. Mackenzie Gore, Spencer Schwellenbach, Robbie Ray, Johnny Peralta, Andrew Abbott, Yamamoto, Logan Webb, Zack Wheeler, Paul Skeens round out the top of the order. And look, this is going to be determined down the stretch, as it always is, in late August, early September. But it appears to be a two-man race between Paul Skeens and Zack Wheeler, in my opinion. After the month of June that Zack Wheeler just had.
Skeens got banged up this weekend. We'll see.
We got to convince Livy Dunn to dump his ass.
This also, like, these are from yesterday.
Yeah, they might be updated.
So this is before the game.
Yeah, I sent this to you yesterday.
I mean, I'm looking at them right now. They're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the live one.
But Wheeler's not a bad bet to make.
No, plus 300. It's right now. It's a two-person race.
We were having the conversation in our Discord channel here at PHLY, which you get if you become a diehard. It's a great, place to talk ball. That's not social media with a bunch of trolls, and we'll get into trolls later today with the WNBA.
Oh man.
Zack Wheeler is a good bet. 6-1 right there for Cy Young. Somebody in our Discord said, I hate that they've already given it to Skeens. And I was like, I understand the media narrative is that he's going to win it, but like this is so far from yet determined.
Yeah, man.
There's also the legacy aspect of this where Zack Wheeler has been, you know, you might be able to make the case by the year 2030 that he was the best pitcher of the 20s. You know what I mean? Like he has been that good entering his 6th season. There is the legacy award. Like, is this guy really going to be the best pitcher of a decade and finish second 3 times?
I totally agree. I feel
like there's a little bit of the legacy.
I feel like there's going to be a little something.
And it's like
Skeens is young.
Like, he's got another decade plus of winning Cy Young. Zack Wheeler, baseball justice.
If he continues on, like, I mean, he's not going to continue like this, but if he's still one of the top 2 pitchers in baseball.
That Ranger plus 6,000 catch your eye a little bit though.
No.
It's gonna be pretty much impossible.
Ranger doesn't have me yet. No, I would bet Zack Wheeler.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in our man. He does a great job. I just read his story this morning up on allphly.com. He is Mr. Jim Salisbury. Jim. Oh, we got a little mute issue. I'm gonna blame Andrew and not Jim. I think that's fair, right? Yeah. But
it's totally Andrew.
Yeah. We still don't have him. What are you doing there, Frazier?
Look,
he's got his Dodger blue on.
He got his Dodger blue. He's ready to go. Come on, Frazier.
We should have him.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Jim. What's up, buddy?
I'm sorry. I have my Dodger blue on.
Yes.
And I'm glad you read my story, and I'm glad you're still awake.
You put him to sleep last night, Jim. You read it last
Jim,
night.
I took a couple nuggets out of your story.
Nuggets? What kind? We talking Chick-fil-A or McDonald's?
What's your favorite nugget?
I'm probably a Chick-fil-A guy.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Wendy's always has a sweet spot in my heart, though.
Yeah, the McNuggets. Nah,
the McNuggets fine. I end up eating.
I don't like the
leftovers
breading
from the
on
kids.
them. Do you?
They're fine, but they're no Chick-fil-A or Wendy's.
No.
Yeah.
Wendy's. I don't know that I've ever had those. I'll have to put them on my my list.
Oh, Wendy's nuggets are good.
Yeah,
you gotta try
disappointed
it.
in Jimmy.
The
not being
spicy
around.
ones are real good.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like spice.
Yeah.
I got a lot of jalapenos growing out in the back 40.
What's your heat meter? You really ramp it up there on anything?
No, I'm not like killer, like burn your mouth, but I like jalapenos. I like poblanos. I grow a lot of cayennes, and what I do is I dry those, and then I grind them up and I sprinkle them on stuff. It's great.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't realize until recently in my life that paprika is just crushed cayennes.
Paprika is a cayenne. I know it's a red pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like crushed up cayennes. It blew my mind. I was like, I
don't know if is it really cayenne? Because cayenne, crushed
I'll
up
have Andrew
cayenne.
look it
cayenne.
up, but that's what I think I saw once on Instagram, Jim. So it's got to be true.
Jimmy, do you dry these naturally, or do you have like a dryer, a whatever?
Yeah, I have a little machine. It's like
A dehumidifier.
It just throws throws some heat on them and has a little fan. It's a dehydrating. You can do anything in it. And peppers are usually a couple days, and then I break them up. I put them in a coffee grinder. The problem is, pretty much that's all you can use it for. You're not going to want to use it for coffee again. And you can grind up any pepper. You can dehydrate anything: bananas, lemons, oranges, apples.
Ooh.
So if you ever need to borrow it, let me know.
All right, good to know.
Well, the nuggets.
I also
took
have a
from you-
rototiller.
Yeah. You got a tiller? I want a tiller.
Yeah, nobody has a rototiller but me, so everybody borrows it.
My neighbor Tom's got one. So
You're always gonna have that one neighbor with a rototiller.
He's got an edger and a tiller. He's got all the good
What do you
stuff.
guys do with tillers?
You till up the garden.
Till
Get
your
that
garden.
soil fresh, man.
How often?
But tilling is a very controversial thing for us gardeners.
Really?
There are people out there who detest tilling. They say it stirs up like the weed seed and the seeds you don't want. They'd rather have that stuff just sit there. So they just plant. They poke holes and they plant. I don't know how they do it. I need to till, and I like to see that rich,
soil.
dark,
Yeah.
fresh, like blank slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you only till in the beginning when you plant? You till,
At least
then
I
you
do
plant.
as a novice.
Okay.
Yeah, I till once. And before I plant, I turn it all over pretty good, and and it works for me.
Okay.
I love this. We just went down a chicken nugget and tilling rabbit hole.
You
So
never know.
Reddit, I just looked.
How
at
about
Where you're
those
going with
Phillies?
steaks.
Hey, we got a paprika update. What do you got?
Reddit is saying that paprika is actually dried and crushed red bell pepper.
Red bell pepper.
It's too sweet for cayenne.
All right,
Too
maybe
sweet
I
for
had that
cayenne.
one wrong. My bad.
Yeah.
All right,
Cayenne.
Jim. So the
dried
Nuggets.
dried cayenne is cayenne.
Yeah, that's a good point. I drank
And
a
I
lot
had
of
to-
beers
I-
at the beach last week, Jim. I'm very dumb right now.
Oh man,
You know.
And the other thing, I'll impart this, and I told Anthony this once, but he probably forgot. So, a poblano is a really nice pepper.
Yeah.
You can stuff them. It's what they make chili relleno out of. But a dried poblano is actually called an ancho. So when you buy ancho powder, you're buying a dried poblano. So how about those Phils?
It's good pepper knowledge out of you. But the nuggets I took from your story last night, Jim. Zack Wheeler, I said it today. He's entering the territory that he's the best Phillies pitcher since Steve Carlton.
Yeah, I think you could say that. I'd have to really dig in,
Sure.
but for his length, I mean, he's been great since he stepped foot into red pinstripes. Been great here the whole time he's been here, starting in the short season, COVID, and I mean, look at his WAR numbers. I'm not sure if you're a WAR fan, but I think it offers a pretty nice snapshot of how a guy's season or career is going, and his WARs have just been dominant. His seasons have been dominant. He just gets better all the time. Student of his craft. Fun to watch, man. We're watching greatness every night. I felt this way when I saw Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley and Ryan Howard play. Cole Hamels, you felt like you were watching greatness. Roy Halladay, he had those 2 unbelievable years, Cliff Lee. And he's right there. I feel like I'm watching greatness every time he takes the mound. So, yeah, I think that's a very valid question. He's the best pitcher here since Carlton. And, if he this year he continues on this track and he has 2 more good ones, I mean, you're going to have people really digging into those numbers in terms of Hall of Fame.
Sure.
I don't know if his peak is going to be long enough, but, the way we or voters, kind of, judge these things now, he's going to have a lot of things going for him, I think. So, fascinating mid to late career ascension in Zack Wheeler. Tremendous signing during the Matt Klentak era. And, hats off to JT Realmuto because Zack Wheeler continues to credit JT Realmuto for a lot of his ascension as a Philly, and flat out said he wanted to come to Philadelphia because he wanted to throw to JT Realmuto. He was so impressed by him.
So before I get to the stats from the month of June that you had in the story, real quick on the JT situation, it's clear he's descending as an offensive player, still elite behind the plate. It seems like he's going to be a Philly for the next couple seasons. Do you have any sense of he's a priority to keep, and if so, like what length of window would be is that a 2 to 3 year type of extension they want to do with him?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of said it, next couple of seasons. I think that's what they would like to do. But you never know what the other teams out there looking for catching are going to do, looking for a veteran leader. And at this stage of his life and his career, I think he has to maximize the deal he can get. So, but I also think the Phillies have to be, wary of, he, like you said, he's shown signs of just natural,
Sure.
signs of slipping backward a little bit. When he's good, he's still very good. And he's always good behind the plate. And the pitchers love throwing to him. It's a team built on his pitching. They love the guy. I think that's something you have to factor in as well. But I do believe, I don't know that he's if you list your priorities, I think Schwarber's probably number 1. Ranger is moving up the chart. Not sure what happens there for a variety of reasons, but Realmuto on a 2-year deal, I think they would do that. We'll see where it all kind of fits in the pecking order, but it's something they're going to look at. Now it just depends on what he gets out elsewhere and the decision he makes. Is this the place he wants to come back to or not?
Yeah, but JT is a big part of the month of June that the starting rotation just had. Jim, just to read some of your numbers here on Zach. For the month of June, he went 2-1 with a .58 ERA in 5 starts, allowed just 2 earned runs over 31 innings, struck out 42 and only walked 7. He had a .87 whip, and opposing batters hit just 180 versus them. You pair that with Ranger Suarez, who went 3-2 with a 1.3 ERA. He struck out 36, only walked 7 in 41 2/3, and Christopher Sanchez with a 1.85 ERA in the month of June.
And Luzardo was pretty good too. If you even though he had that, one of his 2 bad starts came in the month of June. So, I think they had a 2.35 ERA, their starting staff in the month of June, best in all of Major League Baseball. Yet they only go 14-13 because they just, don't hit enough. So they were inconsistent with the bats. Maybe Harper's return will help that, but seeing some great pitching with these guys. I mean, the games that they lost this month were like, nights they scored 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah. I mean, the Pirates series, they let up like 6 earned runs and got swept? 5 earned runs? I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, and they're not giving up runs, and they didn't score enough runs. I think on the recent road trip, they were shut out twice. They scored 1 run twice, and was it 2 runs twice? So it's
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Not great. Now, Ranger Suarez has been spectacular. We just talked about his odds entering the Cy Young race. He's 6,000. What is Ranger Suarez going to warrant on the open market? Is he, because of the durability, does he broach that 30 million per? Is 25 an area? Do you have any sense of what he could fetch on an open market? I've already come to terms with him leaving, but I want to figure something out in my brain that there's a way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have some ideas, some guesses, but every market is different, and you always got some team that goes crazy. And I think a lot of it's going to be determined by how the second half he has. If he continues this, wow, he's going to make really, I think a very big payday. Now, teams are going to have to balance that with the durability because he hasn't, been durable over the years. I mean, I think that's a question mark. Teams also fall in love with velocity, and he's not that guy. But I'll tell you what, he can pitch. And, the thing I love about him is he just knows how to get outs. When he's right, locating, changing speed.
There's never hard contact.
He gets out. I mean, in that game Sunday in Atlanta, the average exit velo was 76 miles an hour for the Braves.
That's unheard of.
Yeah. So what's he going to get? Again, I think we have to see how this second half plays out. If he continues this, finishes top 5 in Cy Young, somebody's going to, the way pitching is, I think somebody's going to make a nice run at him. I look at, I don't know if I can speculate lengths of contracts, total dollars, but I do think you can kind of speculate on some AAVs. When you look at some other left-handers, I think Rodon was in the $24 million range. Sean Manaea, Rangers better than Sean Manaea.
What did he get?
His
21
AAV
or something?
25.
25. Oh, we're screwed.
He got now. That's where it was a shorter deal. It's 3 years, 75, and then Max Fried is a 27 and change AAV. So to me, he's kind of in there somewhere. I think you're going to have Scott Boras making that case, and with inflation in the pitching market or a really strong second half, could he go above 25, 6, 7? I think anything's possible here. I don't know about the length, but, we're going to find out because he has been on a terrific salary drive. And if it continues, it only helps him and the Phillies. It's going to help the 2025 Phillies. And I think we all thought Ranger might be, and do the Phillies have the budget to do it? They already have, obviously, $200-300 million guys that have a lot of length left on their contract. Schwarber is kind of a priority here. Zack Wheeler is going to be back for 2 more years at $84 million. You still owe Nola a lot of money. They're over the 4th luxury tax. It's just how much can they take on? But Rangers giving them a lot to think about. I think at the beginning of the season, we all thought maybe get a great season out of him, shake his hand. He's going to have to be a budget cut just because of the way things are. But he's going to put enormous pressure on them to really think about it if they can find a way to retain him.
Well, if John Middleton really wants to, Jim, I just learned that he has an amazing art collection. He could start selling off some pieces if he really needs.
I think he's already spent a lot of money. I don't know where the budget goes after that. I have no complaints with the amount of money they spend, and nor should I don't think anybody should.
I just don't want to lose this guy because it's like a homegrown, foreign, like a rise that is unbelievable. He shows up in the postseason every time. He talked about recently how he wants to be here. This is his club since his teenage years.
He gets out.
It's such a good story. It's going to hurt to lose him.
They know all that, and they love the guy too.
Sure.
And they're going to bear down on it and see what can happen here. It's just that clearly he hired Scott Boras because he's looking for a big score. How long is Boras going to keep him out there? Is going to look to maximize every dollar, which, I think in a lot of ways you have an obligation to do. But he's given them a lot to think about here in the season he's had and can continue to have. The main question is the health and the durability. He's never really put together that full healthy season. And the Phillies, as they contemplate whether to bring him back and spend what it's going to take, I actually think they might have a little advantage on everybody else because, you mentioned he's been here since he's been 16. All of their instructors and their personnel, who've been involved in that relationship, they know all about his work ethic. They know all about his dedication. That helps them formulate a picture of whether he's going to, remain effective and durable into his 30s. They know his conditioning. They know the health. He's worked with all their athletic trainers, their conditioning guys, their nutrition guys. They know what the entire package looks like, and they're going to have an idea on how it's going to age into its 30s and whether it's going to all remain productive into its 30s. So that's all information that they're going to have to take. Dave Dombrowski and his staff are going to have to dive into and make an ownership as well, and then make a decision from there. But I feel like he's going to go out on the market and test it and see what happens. And believe the Phillies would get a draft pick for him. But, I'm not closing the book on him. And I was one of those guys.
Like closed.
I was one of those guys early in the season, probably a budget cut.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. You never know. I remember 5 years ago, we all thought JT was gone. Remember that. And he was seeking some big dollars. And they waited it out and they got him at their price. So you never know. There's a lot of season left here for Ranger to build his platform, and a lot of season here for the Phillies to see where they go in the standings and make a determination on where he fits in the list of priorities. So,
Jimmy,
I'm not saying never, but I just don't know. It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Am I crazy to think if he has another 2 or 3 good outings, am I a lunatic to try and move him at the deadline? Because it seems like he's not coming back.
You're not a lunatic. You're a bleeping lunatic.
Got him.
Come on, man. A starting
Do you want to
pitcher
win
like
a World
that?
Series or not?
You're a bleeping lunatic.
Yeah.
Next question.
You got to
you
do
gonna win a
it.
World
You got a
Series?
chip that can get you a nice return right now. I mean, they got starting pitching.
Man.
It's the strength. That's
Trade
the strength
Lazard,
of this
man.
team.
Go ahead and say it. They got starting pitching. It's a strength. They got starting pitching the depth. It's a strength. You can lose your starting pitching depth in 3 days. No, you got a guy dazzling like that. You jump on the horse and you ride that. No way. You want to win the World Series in 2025? You need Ranger Suarez getting outs for you.
He's a mutter. How dare you?
Right now, but we know his history. I don't know.
So basically, you're saying in the
healthy?
next. Basically, you're saying in the next 3 weeks they have a Mets-like run and lose 13 out of 16 and fall out of it, because that's the only way you trade Ranger Suarez is if you fall out of it.
Nah, that's not what I'm saying, Jim. I'm saying
trade
they
Lazard.
move Ranger for some assets to move for a bat and some bullpen help.
What bat? Everybody wants this bat. Who's out there? What bat?
I don't know. I'll take Eugenio Suarez.
Okay, Eugenio Suarez. Okay, he's a
He
third
went deep
baseman,
last
isn't he?
night.
He's
And
what?
actually, he hasn't had a great year. I don't think he had that one game where he hit like 17 home runs. And
Well, I mean, he's
or
got
four
he hit
home runs.
three more the rest of the season. He's got like 21 dingers, I think.
I don't know. Okay, what are you doing with your infield? He's got to go to third base.
Yeah, Bone plays first, and Harper goes back to the outfield.
I don't think they want to move Harper in the middle of a season. But
Jim, what
I'm just saying, is that the smart thing to do? Like, if he's not coming back, he's got
So
an
you're
injury
gonna move
history. Is that the
Ranger-
smart thing to do?
so hold it. The Arizona Diamondbacks are going to take a guy who's going into free agency.
No, I'm saying you move Ranger for assets that you can then move to
Oh.
acquire a Suarez or an Adolis Garcia.
a lot of moving parts?
I'm not moving Ranger.
Okay.
I'm with you, Jim.
I'm trying to win the World Series.
Now, are you saying you're not moving Ranger because you don't think it's smart for the Phillies, or it's better for the Dodgers?
I'm not moving Ranger because the Phillies have a humongous payroll. They have a star-studded roster that the odometer is high and the clock is ticking, and it's win now, baby. It's win now. It's World Series or bust, and you significantly weaken yourself if you lose that guy. I'm not big on starting to trade from my big league roster, especially my top contributors, and he's one of my top contributors.
So, Jim, let's talk about before we get to the trade deadline and maybe the priority bucket list there. Let's talk about, I set a date. I was looking at Andrew Painter's start schedule. I was going to give VG this date of July 24th for him to take an over or an under on.
Maybe. Sounds good date. I actually, a couple months ago, I had, I think the first game in San Francisco, I think it was July 7 or July 9. So that's not going to happen. But yeah, that sounds like a good date. July 24. Where are they?
I forget where they are in the schedule. I'll look that up in a second, but it's right after the All-Star break. I think it's right after he's kind of on like a fifth day type of rest. Do you think that's inevitable that he's up here by at least mid-August?
They seem to now be downplaying a little bit, but I think that's, the way, I think that's manager speak. He's, Rob saying he's got to earn it. And I think he's coming.
What role?
What do you mean, what role?
Well, you just had like the best month of June for any starting rotation. You have
I don't know.
entering the mix again, probably in the near future.
Well, they could do this little 6-man here and there, work him in. I would just kind of keep an eye on Mick Abel, and maybe he slides in there, and it buys you some time to really build up Nola for like a stretch drive run, see what you can get out of him. Maybe Abel at some point can give you some outs in the bullpen. Might be something you try to find out on, but I do think he's coming here. I don't want to be using up all his innings in AAA, and kind of when I look at him, and I just have wondered aloud if he's just a little bit bored down there, like spinning his wheels, because all the attention has been about him getting to the big leagues, and not just for this year. I mean, if he didn't break down, he might have been in the big leagues 2 years ago. They were talking about.
Yeah.
So kind of eager to see him, and I kind of think they're going to get him here and take a look here at some point.
All right.
Probably
the
this
other
month.
guy is at a position more of need, and it's Justin Crawford. Are we seeing him on the big club this year? There's been some whispers that they might get a look at him in the next couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on Crawford?
Yeah, I think they'll get a look at him. I think they were pretty close a couple of weeks ago before he hurt that quad. I think they were very close. I think he was moving here pretty swiftly. Every night he kind of gets 2 hits, multiple hits. So I could see that happening. There's just so much in play. Would Marsh go to left field? Would Crawford go to left field? What happens with Kepler? I think these next 10 days are probably pretty important for how they're gonna look at aligning that outfield. And do they end up getting a platoon right-handed bat? Is Otto Kemp that guy in left? But to me, Crawford, he's hitting like 340 or 335. He's kind of, they fast-tracked him to AAA.
Are you concerned about his ground ball rate at the major league level?
Look, I know everybody talks about that. I have to see how it works. He does have good wheels. I think he will maybe grow into a little more line drive. But everybody, kind of lists that as a fault. It's sort of something everybody leans on. But the kid does a lot of pretty good things as well. He can really run and use that speed, and sometimes hitting the ball on the ground works for those guys.
Well, what's interesting, Jim, when I talked to him in Clearwater last year, I asked him about it, and he said, they're not telling me to work on that. He said,
yeah, because you don't want to mess up his head. You don't want him overthinking. You want him going up there swinging. Overthinking is the enemy of a golf swing and a hitter. You got to react, and you don't want him to lose his reaction skills. I mean, to me, the bigger question is the defense. Is he a center fielder or is he a left fielder? A lot of people think he is would be a better left fielder than center fielder. Yeah. So, but I think we're getting close to that time. And if the offense doesn't pick up and get more consistent, anything could be in play. But on the trade deadline, I don't know that one big bat that's going to fix everything is there. I think it's more of a
platoon,
a marginal pickup that you hope the guy gets hot and helps you, that can mitigate some of your problems. I think the guys that are here really are the guys that need to pick it up and, get a little compliment from outside at the trade deadline. I think, to me, their big need at the trade deadline is a
bullpen.
Yeah, and a big one, and a guy who can, scare some people at the back of games. A guy who's been there, done that. A guy who can lock down some leads so you win the games you're supposed to win.
You got a home run name in mind? You got like a mid-tier target in mind? Anything catching your eye?
I got about 10 of them in mind.
What's realistic? Are they
I don't know.
swinging for the fences on this?
My home run would be the guy from Oakland.
Ooh.
Mason Miller. He's, they've talked to Oakland in the past and last year and in the off season. If Oakland decides to move him, I might get aggressive there. He might be the guy I get aggressive for. But
do you move an Abel for him?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is that a 3?
I'm thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Because
I'm thinking about
the A's have issues. They need controllable pitching. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, and just because, I know he's his ERA is a little higher this year, but I still think he gets a lot of handshakes at the end of games. He's throwing 100 plus, and he's got several. I think he's got 4 more years of control. But there are other guys. I mean, I like Aroldis Chapman as a short-term fit. Been there, done that. Power, having a great year. The guy in Baltimore, Bautista. Probably Tampa Bay's in it, so Fairbanks might stay put. Like the guy in Minnesota, he might be a guy on the move.
Duran or Duran?
Duran, yeah. I'd like to get a nice big arm back there.
Speaking my language, Jim.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, I mean, all you got is I feel good about 2 guys. I feel okay about Banks, but it's basically Orion and Strom.
Strom's
been like, just okay recently. I feel good about
he's carried a huge load. He's carried a huge load for this team, and Strom has. That's why I think you need to really augment out there. I like the improvements that Kirkwing's made. I think he's only given up 3 runs the last 2 months.
He's been awesome.
Yeah, he's really matured into like a closer's role, it seems like mentally. I
agree. He's got some toughness to him. Kind of steely eye. Doesn't look like he lets a bad game bother him. You really like that. Stuff is good. Like I said, I think he's only given up 3 runs the last 2 months. I just like the way he's kind of coming around here and improving. And there's something there, but you need more in the back of that bullpen. And you need your offense not to disappear in October like it did the last 2 Octobers. But let's not forget, they had bullpen issues the last 2 Octobers as well. So you need more bullpen, and this is not a secret. Everybody knows it. They know it, and I expect them to do something. Because it's win. It's win now.
Dude, do you think Crawford's in their long-term plans? And is there any credence to the thought that maybe they're just he's raking in AAA? You leave him there and rake in case he is a chip. Like you don't bring him up to the MLB and see him go 0 for 15.
Yeah, I hear people say that all the time. Like they used to stash guys in Reading because it was a hitter's ballpark. Let them put up big numbers and build trade value. I think scouting and analytics is so good that other teams see right through that. They know who's a good player and who's not. if you stay in the AAA or in a hitter's ballpark. So I don't think you keep him there to build trade value. If you think he can help your big league team and there's an opening, I think you bring him. Is he in their long-term plans? I think so, but it depends on the opportunity that comes down the pike in terms of a potential deal. If it's a deal that's going to help you win the World Series this year or next year, I think they might think about it. But, the center field position has been a sinkhole for a lot of years, many of the years I covered this team. They just haven't had anything steady in center field, maybe since Shane Victorino, and then on both sides of him, long kind of droughts. So, yeah, I think he's in their plans, but depends who comes down the pike and is going to help you win this year. Maybe they would think about it. I don't think he's an untouchable, but I also don't think he's a throw-in or they're going to give him away. I think they really like him and like how he could help them, be it as a performer in Philadelphia or as a trade piece that could bring in something that helps them immediately and dramatically now.
So Jim, speaking of outfielders in general, not Philly specific, just Major League Baseball, do you get the same feeling that I do that, like, if you remove, like, say, an Aaron Judge, a Tatis, like those top 3 to 5 guys, that the position has just fallen off a cliff?
Yeah. Hitting has gotten hard, man.
Is that just an homage to the pitchers and how good they've become, or like are they putting their best players in other positions? Like, it seems like outfielders in general, just like there's not a bevy of great outfielders anymore.
Yeah, a lot of great productive offensive outfielders. I think there's still guys who can run down balls.
Sure.
But yeah, I think hitting in general is gotten harder. While Aaron Judge does crazy things that you just like, wow. The velocities and the spin rates and the stuff is just off the charts. And, a lot of guys don't know where it's going. Sometimes you don't want to dig in against them, but I just think hitting has gotten harder as pitching has continues to evolve. And these guys train for velo and learn how to develop velo and unlock their mechanics and take everything to another level. I look at a couple of the last Phillies drafts. I mean, they think Aiden Miller's a hitter. He's had a tough month at Double-A, but last year they get 2 outfielders, Norrie and Burkholder, in the first 2 picks. They think they could be offensive-minded outfielders, but they're hoping to develop those guys. But I do think we're in a little down cycle in terms of the kind of the blue ribbon offensive performer in the outfield. They're still out there. Sure. I just don't think they're as plentiful.
Last one for you, Jim. If Bryce Harper's wrist, and look, you can never tell an athlete to get surgery because it's their decision and, all that stuff. If his wrist continues to bother him for the remainder of the season, is this something where you got to be like, hey, Bryce, like, we got to do something here? Do you expect an off-season surgery on that wrist?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like Ranger. What's he going to make? Ask me in 3 months when I see how it all evolves. Ask me in 3 months if he, maybe, the pain goes away. He said last night that, it's not going to prevent him from playing. It's not getting any worse. He's good enough to play. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a wait and see thing. But the concern is he had it last year. It didn't totally go away. It's everybody's kind of vague and talking about what it is. Is it tendonitis? Is it this, that, or the other thing? All I know is I don't think he would be on the field. He's a guy that's not going to embarrass himself, and he knows his body. He wouldn't be on the field if he didn't think he was healthy enough. He wouldn't be on the field, and they wouldn't let him, but he wouldn't be on the field if he didn't think he could produce. They need Bryce Harper to be Bryce Harper in a big, big way. I mean, I think about all that pitching they got this month, and they went 14 and 13 in June.
Crazy.
With all that pitching. They could have really surged a little bit on the Mets, who've been terrible, but they're only 2 up. So it's going to be fun and interesting though the rest of the way, and a lot of good storylines. And you hit on it. Ranger's a big one, man.
Yeah,
big
is.
one. Harper's a big one.
Jimmy,
Wheeler's a big one. I'm
can I
sorry.
throw one name at you at the free agent? Would you have any interest in Andrew McCutchen?
I've thought about that because I think he's a great clubhouse guy.
He's having a decent year.
You'd have to really pick your spots with him. Right-handed bat. The thing is, he doesn't want to move. He
Well, he
has
wants to
said
retire there. I mean, he could just re-sign at the end of the year. You go back to them.
I just don't know how mobile he is anymore, and they have a DH. I mean, I get it, but he's an interesting right-handed bat. He had a great half season here before tearing his ACL. I'd have to really think about it. It's a name that I have thought about to the point where I keep an eye on him, and I see he's just adamant on staying in Pittsburgh. I love the guy.
Right.
He is team first. He's smart baseball player, instinctual.
Funny.
I wish he didn't hurt his knee because I think we would have seen really some good things, some tremendous things from Andrew McCutchen. He was a Philly that an injury prevented us from seeing how special he could have been. Later in his career, I think he could have had a couple really good years here. He was a terrific dude.
I think the Pirates are trying to do right by him, but I think this is the one place he would agree to go to at the deadline for a few months.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he'd be a nice piece in the clubhouse, and if he could give you a couple months worth of good at bats from the right side. I just don't know where his defense is right now because I don't see him every day. And I don't know. It's an interesting name though. I will say that it just might be a year or two too late.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the time, Jim. It was a great Phillies discussion with you. Some good pepper talk and chicken nugget talk mixed in as well.
Oh, by the way, people saying Taco Bell. Don't sleep on Taco Bell nuggets.
They just came out with the nuggets.
Yeah, big fartsy in the
big
chat.
farts in the chat. Jim says Taco Bell nuggets.
Taco Bell has nuggets?
Yeah, they just launched it like a month ago.
Wow.
Check it out.
You know what I do when I drive by Taco Bell?
I don't know. What do you do, Jim?
I keep going.
What? Oh, man.
Taco Bell's best at 1 a.m. after a session at the pub, you know?
There's one on when I drive home in the stadium, there's one on 322. I think about going through there a lot, and then I just go to the Wawa.
Well, it is Hoagie Fest, Jim. It's your time to shine.
My favorite holiday.
We appreciate the time, Jim. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure you read Jim's story up on allphly.com. See you, buddy.
Hey, Jim.
I haven't had Taco Bell in a while, but now
I've had it recently.
It's Inception planted in my brain, and I don't have any like in my immediate like kind of area. So it's like it doesn't like
it's a late night meal.
It doesn't tempt me like
you're
a
not
siren.
you're not getting like Taco Bell for lunch.
Yeah,
I do.
Come on. Do they ever bring back the Mexican
Taco
pizza?
Bell is a good.
I roll with the Peg, and she's vegetarian. They have a ton of vegetarian options at the Taco Bells.
Yeah.
So,
but apparently, the nugs, they're really good.
All right, Big Farts. Is that Big Farts Jones?
Big Farts Jones.
I mean, how do you think he got his name, bro?
Yeah, Big Farts.
I think they bred him in the shell.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, we went long with Jim. We got to take care of some business here. Coming up on the other side, we got VG's Nugs of the Day, some nonsense to close out the show. But first, let's tell you about some friends of ours here at PHLY.
Let's talk about game time, especially with the FIFA World Cup club games and the FIFA World Cup games come up next year. You want to be all over Game Time. They've got exclusive zone deals with FIFA. They give you 10% off these exclusive zone deals. And, there's other apps out there. What I love about Game Time, I just set my home market and I just open up the app and it's got everything coming up right there for me. So easy to use. All the fees are included. You get panoramic views of any seat you want in the house. There's nothing to worry about. No guesswork about fees. No guesswork about what your view is going to be. They have the most amazing last-minute ticket deals, especially on their zone deals. And they got easy to find. If you're traveling out of market for MLB games, they've got the best selection of MLB tickets. Pretty much the lowest price you're going to find out there. And they have the cool event cancellation protection and all kinds of protections to make sure your ticket purchase is secure. And call to action right now is to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Line app. It's really simple. Create an account and use the code PHLY, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem the code PHLY, $20 off. So download that app now. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Game Time. That's where you want to get all your tickets.
All right, it has been hot in the Philadelphia greater area for couple weeks now. It's been steamy. It's been humid. You know what that leads to? A lot of swamp ass, fellas.
Woo.
You got to take care of yourself. And our friends at Mando, they saw the need for men to smell better. They know the need for a full body deodorant that is hyper focused on keeping all of your body smelling fresh and clean. Every single aspect. That means your balls, your belly button, your butt crack, and your grundle. Don't be stanking out there, boys. We got Mando to the rescue. Their scents are geared toward men with flavors, with options like bourbon leather. Hopefully it's a flavor for you. Options like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport. And it's a whole body deodorant, so you can hit anywhere, even your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block out odor all day and odor for up to 72 hours. That's right. Your grundle will be smelling bourbon leather fresh for 72 hours. They have spray. They have deodorant sticks. It's baking soda free and paraben free. You can choose from a great amount of options, and it's clinically proven. 12 hours after a shower, most men's grundles are a 5 out of 10 on the odor meter. With Mando, the average grundle odor is a 0 out of 10. So do yourselves a favor and try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now. You can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. And for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. I got one in my DOP kit right now.
You
Had
do?
it down the shore, yeah. They sent a little starter pack here to the station, and I went, yoink.
My brother is a big user of the Mando.
Yeah?
Loves the Mando.
Right on the gooch?
He's got the wipes, the body, all of it. He loves
the
that
wipes.
stuff.
I might have to throw some in the golf bag.
That's just as you say, big farts is like the gooch.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
farts, my man.
The gooch.
Yeah.
The grundle, I am amazed. This is a new term for me.
Grundle?
I've never heard it before until
Really?
this started. Yeah, until this ad campaign. I
Well,
always went with the other word that you use for it, which it's a little more.
The T word?
Yeah, I've always
Yeah.
used that. I've never heard grundle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always switched between the three.
You were aware of
Gooch,
grundle?
grundle, and
Gooch and
I know
grundle.
the-
and
I
the
know
other
the
one.
gooch,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Big farts, my man. Coming up strong with some Taco Bell knowledge. Let's get a little thumbs up on that YouTube page for the grundles, all the smelly grundles out there, shall we? And thank you to our friends at Mando.
No thumbs up for smelly grundles. Only thumbs up for,
Did I do that wrong?
for
Find your favorite taste.
nice
Let's get a little
smelling
thumbs up
grundles.
for taking care of those smelly grundles out there.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. This is the Anthony Gargano Show without Anthony Gargano. I'm Jamie Lynch. He's Violations Greg. If you're listening and watching, thank you. Hit that thumbs up button for real, though. Help us stay in business. I need at least 100 thumbs up, or Vince said he's going to starve me, which is probably good. All right, couple things to get to. Great baseball conversation with Jim. Some good pepper talk mixed in there as well. So we got a back in the day to get to. We got some VG's Nugs to get to. Let's get to VG's Nugs because we didn't give it proper.
Well, can we let's just talk about, first of all, the WNBA announcement. You and I got sucked into a vortex of people yesterday.
And I regret. I only have myself to blame.
I don't understand it. And I saw other people. FitDadCEO put out a post about the WNBA.
Why do people care?
And he got a bunch of trolls out. And a lot of the women's sports journalists in town put out stuff. And why are these dudes so angry just coming out, like, just hating on it?
It basically, the insoles / trolls turn it into a conversation about its profitability.
Well, I'm looking at
That's the first place they go with the WNBA. It's not profitable.
Here's
It's
another.
a subsidy of the NBA.
How can a league expand when they aren't profitable?
Who cares? Who cares what
That's how you
billionaires
get
do
profitable.
with your money?
That's how you get profitable. You expand.
Josh Harris had to put up $250 million to get this expansion. That was the fee, $250.
250.
If that goes down the toilet tomorrow, will I care or cry one iota? No. Why do I care what a billionaire does with their money?
Yeah.
If they lose, which, look, these people are financially smarter than me, you, and VG, and the incels online. If they lose their money, which they probably won't, it becomes a tax write-off for them. So why do you care about a billionaire's pockets?
Yeah,
just stop.
Fit Dad's watching. He said he'll hop in because I think he was getting
Dude, and I
berated
took
on.
the bait, and I called it yesterday when
Yeah.
we announced it. I said, as a father of 2 daughters that like sports, I can't wait to take them. Do I watch the WNBA? No, I don't. Do I follow it more than I ever thought I would? Kinda. It's all over TV. It's all over socials. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. Sabrina, there's a ton of women that are just like absolutely.
I mean,
killing
I don't watch
Asia
it.
Wilson, I hear it from Devon.
I hear it on the
Vince.
peripheral. I don't watch it, but
But
I'm
I
kind of
will
cool. It's
watch
coming here. I'll watch a Philly
I will watch
team.
a Philly team.
Yeah, like
Absolutely. I can't wait to take my girls.
Yeah,
to a
and these
game.
are not idiots who are investing in this team. Like these
Josh
are,
Harris is not
these
giving
are
$250
guys
million away.
I mean, he might be an idiot at some things. He does really well in finance and
He's
investment.
just woke virtue signaling.
yeah.
Yeah, he's throwing away $250
They're just subsidizing
to appease
women.
the woke mafia.
Yes.
Get lost. Does anybody use their brain anymore? Who cares?
And it's not only that. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that there aren't other people who like that thing you don't like. So just stop complaining about it. There are people out there who enjoy it, who watch it regularly. Kids watch it. They get inspired by it. Just stop complaining about something that doesn't affect you at all.
And Golden State just launched a team this year, and it's off to a wild success. They lead the WNBA in attendance with almost 19,000 a game. So when you say nobody cares, you're just factually wrong. Leave them be. Let them exist. Let girls around the Delaware Valley who love basketball be able to go downtown and watch a game. Let them get into the league. Who gives a damn? There's so many real problems in this world.
They can watch the men play. What do they have to watch women
For people
play?
to choose this as something to stand on a soapbox about is utterly
But
bleeping ridiculous.
Shut
up.
It's like the entire, the Inquirer put up a post about the entire legal fold by 2030.
It's been around for 28 years. It ain't going anywhere.
If the league survives that long.
What are you
These
talking
tweets
about?
are ridiculous.
Who cares? Who cares?
They're just soured people that have nothing
I
else
know.
but to complain
It's social
online.
media.
And half of them won't even complain in person.
No.
They have to hide behind a screen to do it.
You should need to pass some kind of permit test to be on social media. anymore.
Here's
It's
the sportsman
absolutely
on
terrible.
Twitter. Great. The Philadelphia Who Cares should be the perfect team name. What the-
Oh, by the
Another
way,
one. Trash. You got Fit Dad on there? Oh, yeah.
here he is. I'll
apparently,
bring him
as
up.
we welcome in FitDad, apparently about a year ago, somebody filed a trademark for the Philly Freedom. And with merchandising,
Oh, wow.
sub chapters of it. So it looks like it could
And
be the early
That's a
favorite.
good one. And Natalie Eganoff, I guess she had reposted back. She said when there was chatter before, the Philadelphia sound, like the sound of Philadelphia. I like that one.
not
That's a
bad.
good one. Yeah.
Freedom's pretty good. Let's welcome in FitDad CEO.
Yeah, Fit Dad.
What up?
What's up, guys?
So you posted about this, and it seemed like by your response that you were getting some heat or
Why
blowback.
did I take the bait yesterday?
All I said was I was excited. I retweeted that thing.
right,
People are just it's ridiculous. But that's why I kind of said it, because if you look, the thing that everyone kind of has in common is that it's all the people with either a blank profile
No
picture
avatars, yep.
or no avatar, or they look like they get winded from playing darts. I don't have time for it. And I just pulled up the tweet, and one of the comments I got was, what was it? If you're one of those clowns who believes that this is a quality product, I feel for you. What have you been watching the last few years? This is a quality product, honestly. And it's only going to continue to keep getting better.
Right.
So whatever. I don't got time for that stuff, man. It's just dudes online. Just running their mouths, basically. Like you said, they all hide behind their screens. I deal with it every day just for my own social media, but when I see topics like this, I almost sometimes just bait people into it because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's fun sometimes.
So a couple of years ago, I tried to swear off of this type of discourse online because you're talking to a wall, right? You're talking to a concrete wall. It's pointless. And yesterday, I had people crawling in my mentions, and I have nobody to blame but myself because I took the bait again. And I kind of felt gross about myself. I had to go look in the mirror and be like, this is a me problem. They're not going to go anywhere. This is on me. I have to own this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys are talking about grundles and stuff a minute ago. I basically just say listen, dude, you don't even have enough balls to put your face online. You can eat my grundle, bro. I don't even know what to do.
I just don't understand why it's people get so triggered by it. It was like a happy,
it really is, and that's what it is. It's a trigger. Like they see something. Oh my god, it's women playing basketball. I need to comment on this.
Yes.
I need to let them know my thoughts
about the financial stability of their league that they're in. How dare they?
I mean, it's funny. Like the only argument that people ever honestly have is like, oh, you know, the commentary about the athletes in the WNBA talking about the disparity in pay and all that stuff. And there's other women are like, okay, I understand that argument of like why people dislike that part of it and people not understanding how the business part of it works. But other than that, it's a sport. Yeah. Like, dude, you're getting in 2030, we're gonna have another team to watch. It's more sports on TV. Who cares?
In a dead time of the year, like right now, where there's nothing going on except baseball.
Exactly. And you know, listen, all I know is I saw what was it, Dawn Staley? I think her contract is up in 2030.
We were talking about that yesterday. Miss President Staley, come back home. Here's the Brinks truck.
This is exciting, man. We got 5 years to like ramp this thing up and get really excited about it. And the fact that people are like making this a negative thing. And honestly, it's funny because if you actually go and look at the actual comments, the positive comments outweigh the negative. Like people we're naturally negative, so we're always going to look for those first. But if you actually go and look at those and be intentional about the actual comments, the majority of them are positive comments.
Yeah, they're just a loud crowd, the minority. They're just so
that's all. Yep.
And that's why.
It's just like oh, this is social. And men are subsidizing this women's sports. Like, no, the NBA owns the majority of the WNBA.
They just signed a $2.2 billion
they're getting a $2.2 billion.
They're not doing that for nothing.
And it helps generate fans in the NBA as well. And these franchises, like, I don't know, it was like the Raiders owner or something. People are buying these franchises for like $2 million, and now they're worth like 40 or 50. This is like a legit business going on right now. It's not socialism in any way.
Real estate values, bro.
I mean, even the NBA it wasn't just, you know, an immediate boost either. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and we already know there's already hate for women's sports out there. So people are going to be negative about it. So you give it another 10, 15, 20 years, and this will be like, this is going to be a league that rivals, I think, some of the other leagues that are out there.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it's not for Magic and Bird, the NBA was on life support at a time.
Exactly.
So, like, you know, maybe Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's Magic and Bird. She took it to a whole new level. She raised the contracts, the travel, the stay, like all of it. She elevated the league.
They needed the drama. I mean, I think they did what they did with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Paige Becker, all these new bodies that are coming in. They never really had that drama with, you know, the older generation.
Sure.
You know, when we were watching them in the early 2000s, and you know what I mean? Now it's like, no, let's make this a little bit of like WWE-ish, and let's get some new blood in here. And now that you kind of have these rivalries, people are watching them again. But you had these rivalries in the NBA as well, where people started watching them also. So it's I think they're doing a lot of what the NBA did in the beginning, and I don't hate it. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, sports are soap opera, and every soap opera needs a heel. And if good for Angel Reese, like knowing she can lean into that and probably profit all the way to the bank. So I'm with you. The trolls were out yesterday, Fit Dad, and it's our fault. It's on
I welcome them.
Yeah,
I welcome it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, good to see you.
All right, see you guys.
There he is. Give him a follow on Instagram at FitDadCEO.
Yeah, he does great hysterical videos. If you're a parent or a father, you'll love it.
So when I first he followed me on Twitter for a long time, and I knew him from Instagram because I was following him on Instagram, but not on Twitter because he's huge on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, is this actually you? Is this FitDadCEO from Instagram? And he's like, yeah, bro, it's me. I listened to you on the radio. And I was like, oh, man, I love your Instagram account. So
nice.
Good work by him. FitDadCEO. Very funny parent content.
Yeah.
And just joke content in general. All right, let's get to VG's Nugs of the Day, presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged right there on the corner of 8th and Walnut.
Great spot. Really good, friendly people.
I got
there.
some nugs to counter your nugs too.
Uh-oh.
So you got nugs.
I want to start off
because
I've been refreshing my Twitter, all my X,
Are you on Ruski Watch?
I'm on
I
Shabanov.
see Bill and Charlie pacing
We got
around.
a video. I got a video of a goal by or a little move by Shabanov to give you a taste
I
of
thought
what.
you were going to tell me he was out like wrestling a bear. Or
No,
something.
no, this is much better, dude. When you see this,
Шабанова просто шикарное действие. Укрыл шайбу крюком, причем укрыл ее сверху.
I've never seen a flyer do that in my life.
Исполнил спинораму,
Anything
и здесь
Get this kid
мог
over here.
отличаться, но, мне кажется, немного пространства.
little
просто не
360
хватило.
between the legs. Come on.
Him and Zegras with the Michigans and the dingle and the dangle. We
Yeah.
finally got some stick
Yeah,
butts,
yeah.
some stickmen.
We do have some stickmen. There's going to be a few Michigan goals this
Yeah,
year.
by the way, with Zegras and that lettuce on his head, he's going to be a stickman on and off the ice around town. I tell you that.
That hair does play well with the hockey ladies.
Yeah.
They love the hair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The lettuce, man.
So
yeah.
what's our timeline here on the Ruski?
It's supposed to be today, man. He's supposed to make an announcement today.
Window we're looking at here.
Does it
Just
start at
anytime
12?
today?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what time it is in Russia.
But we
oh,
should-
wait. Doesn't hockey free agency starts
Free
in an hour?
agency starts in an hour.
In an hour.
Maybe
yes, at
noon?
At noon.
So maybe we'll hear
we're
like right
hoping,
around noon.
away.
Yeah, and also coming out, I mean, just coming out of Flyer stuff. Who's this guy? There's Elliot Friedman. He's a really good hockey reporter.
Yeah, he's like he's the Shams of
Yeah.
the NHL world.
He's saying the Flyers are trying to get Corey Perry, maybe.
Really?
And that guy's only been to like the last 27 Stanley Cups in a row.
In my mind, he's 48 years
I
old.
know.
How old actually is he? Let's look that up.
Yeah, he's saying
No,
that
hasn't
could
he
be a
lost?
surprise attempt. Could be coming for a scoring winger, and he could be him.
Isn't he the one that's
Yeah, he
lost
loses
5
every
of the last 6 cups?
Yeah,
or
he's
something
been
like
in every
wild?
cup and lost 5 of 6.
He's 40 years old.
40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His birthday is in May, so you'll get him pretty much in the 40th year.
Grab him and then you just trade him with someone who's trying to make a cup run. They need a savvy vet.
Hey Vince, you in on Corey Perry? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Corey Perry, thumbs up or down?
Oh,
All
big
right,
thumbs
Vince
up.
is in on Corey Perry. That'd be fun. It's
Yeah,
a name.
I like it.
Zamboners get excited by
Bad
names.
track record, though.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Hey,
that.
I'll take a
gets to the
Stanley
cup.
Cup
He
loss at
gets
this
to the
point.
cup, dude.
Yeah, you get there, but lose it? Come on.
I mean, it's better than irrelevance.
Sure, but
Oh, dude.
I want to win it.
Speaking of someone who's relevant, there's a fan in Arizona, the Diamondbacks fan, who's been relevant for 4 straight years now on questionable calls that involve umpires have to get involved. Have you seen this guy?
No.
And this is our back in the day as well.
Yeah, that works for back in the day. All right,
Yeah,
let's
this
do
is
it.
our back in the day.
Back in the day in the Nugs, is this legal?
It is.
Are the
Should be.
authorities going to arrest
We're
us?
doing it right
We're
now.
going
You guys are
4 straight years. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day. I don't know. This guy's got to get banned from baseball at some point.
What's going on here?
Watch.
This is Zach.
He's got
Here's
some power.
2022.
And it's on display right here.
Is it habitual
we're gonna have
over
to
the
look
fence?
at that
He leans
one.
over the
fan may have
wall.
reached over.
Same guy.
That's last year. This is crazy.
Oh my god. That was clearly
The
over.
fan took it away. Oh, that
These
should
are
be
all
interference.
I don't know. I think he gets ruled
It's
for
ruled a home run to
interference.
start.
No,
says
it's
call
just
upheld.
called upheld.
Oh, ruled
Take a
upheld.
look.
Yeah, they've all been called upheld.
That's just out of your seat.
Chill out, buddy. I know there's not a lot going on in Phoenix. Just surviving the summer.
Dude.
There should be an age limit on glove at game.
Absolutely.
Like 16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
can see
probably
that.
fair.
Yeah, if you can drive a car,
Yeah.
probably don't need the mitt.
You just gotta put that baby out there.
Yeah.
17 and older, no glove.
That dude sucks.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on.
Get out of here.
He can't be having friends going to the game with him. Like,
I wouldn't want to sit with that
Nah,
guy.
That guy's the worst.
Yeah, jeez, nerd.
Oh, speaking of friends at the game,
Before we get
yeah.
into your next one, are we safe to send it? It's 40 seconds away, 20 seconds away from the top.
Yeah, we're good.
hit
Good to send it to overtime.
Speaking of having good friends, to go to the game with, there's this crew in Pittsburgh. It was this kid's birthday, and his boys really did him a solid.
I have another Pittsburgh
Do you?
tweet from yet.
Look, they were saying it's his birthday. Baseball.
Yeah, good
birthday and Brian Reynolds, yeah.
Birthday ball.
Birthday gift. They're fired up. That's a great shot. That is.
Is that Reynolds that threw it off to him?
Yes, it was
That's
Reynolds.
good.
It actually wasn't his birthday.
It wasn't?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
That would have been a better bit.
Yeah, it's like going to a restaurant and saying it's your birthday and getting a lobster, you know?
Can you pull up the Pittsburgh tweet from yesterday while we're on the subject of Pirates games? We'll throw this in the nugs as well.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
No.
one? Poor Cheryl and Tim.
Cheryl and Tim.
Well, I guess more poor Tim.
Okay. All right.
Cheryl, please take me back. I'm sorry
Whoa.
I kissed your sister.
Oh, the old Bucko board.
On the Bucko billboard.
That's
Cheryl,
great.
Tim just made a mistake.
There's no way
There's
that's
no way it's
real.
real.
I mean, I
man.
know it's actually up there, but come on. Someone had to be a joke.
Tim. I just love Tim.
Tim seems like a good guy, Cheryl. Quit being a bee.
That takes a lot of coordination to get that up there in timing. That's awesome.
Poor Tim. Maybe the sister was just like, irresistible.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not a good
You don't
move,
risk
man.
it all for somebody non-irresistible, right?
Maybe they're twins. Hopefully they're twins.
That's even
Identical
hotter.
twins would be great, and you just mistake.
You're like, oh, I thought it was you.
Had a drink or two. Yeah. Then you could.
Oh,
Hey, it looked like you. The lights were off.
Could have sworn it was you.
Exactly. Let's do one more. I want to do some food one because Jimmy Steaks always is great food conversation.
Yeah.
So Red Lobster's been struggling financially. They got this new CEO who's doing all these specials to try and get people in. So now they're doing
Cheddar Bay biscuits
This
aren't
is
bringing people in the door.
outrageous.
they're doing a seafood boil.
Oh,
and
boy.
someone did a review of it.
Oh no!
But like where he's doing the
Dude,
review
there's so much weird stuff in
to
this
do
video.
a seafood boil is gross.
Lobster. I got their family boil for $100. Y'all know what time it is.
What is he doing in the
Oh my
car?
god.
Dude, your car's
With
gonna
all this
reek.
butter.
Oh my god! Dude, that's
I got the boil in the cajun butter sauce. They
There's
got
so
small
much
lobster tails in there.
slurping.
They
Imagine
got a
like
regular
parking
size
next to
bag
this
for
guy
like
and you see him
$40.
making
Got the
this
potatoes
video.
and shrimp. I also got the roasted garlic sauce. The shrimp holds flavor. I'm very surprised by the sauce. Red Lobster actually seasoned the boil.
Like he's acting like this is just
I feel like I
normal. He's
should've
just sitting
been
around
selling
doing a
this
whole
some
boil
of
review in his
that
Red
car.
Lobster had to pay this guy, right?
I like everything glossy.
I know a lot of food influencers do stuff in the car, but like a seafood
Red Lobster was
boil-
going out of business. They had to hit a comeback and tie up the
Dude,
game.
in the
They actually
car
came
is
out with a
outrageous.
good
This guy should
seafood
be
boil.
on a watch list.
I've seen
I bet
people
he's
miss
paid
their
directly
rent
from
just
Red
to come get
Lobster.
one of
You
these.
think?
Yeah,
I mean, it
Red
looks
Lobster might have
good.
made a
I would
complete
eat
U-turn.
that.
it does look good.
I give their boil an 8.7. You get everything you want in a boil. I like it. I approve. And yes, I would try it again.
Dude, that guy's car is gonna stink for forever.
That's so gross in the car.
It's
I,
like
don't-
a
I don't know why
butter,
the
like-
car is so weirding
just
me
so much
out.
dripping
Oh,
and slurping.
dude.
Seasoned melted butter.
You got a couple nugs you want to throw in?
Yeah, I got a couple nugs. Malik Beasley, have you seen these highlights?
Yeah, he's not having a great time.
My man is toast. He just threw
you
away
know this story?
$42 million. No, I didn't.
Oh,
There's
okay.
nothing to share with it.
All right.
Well, there are many highlights being exposed, but I didn't send you any of him clearly shaving points.
Yeah, he's under investigation for point shaving and fixing prop bets and stuff.
Oh wow.
How long until player props are eliminated? Somebody else just got off. I forget. Another NBA player just got cleared.
Yeah,
of
I
the
know.
case.
It's so hard to regulate.
But like these Beasley ones are so bad. Like there's full court sprints to like cover baskets. There's like just dropping passes. There's like freezing on defense and letting somebody go by you. Like
the thing is, though, a lot of the videos are about like wins and losses and not particularly his props, which is
the
curious.
spread, a lot of them are spread related.
Spread related, yeah. I mean, well, if they're going to worry about spread related, then
You can't
that's the
fix
whole,
that, but
yeah.
I fear you could eliminate player props one day if this
I
spirals.
mean, you probably
out of
could. I think
control.
that's why they don't do it in college.
Quick news, real quick. Yabusele, was it 2 years, 12 mil? Knicks.
The Knicks.
Knicks.
Ew.
Yeah.
Just reported.
Of course.
Ew. Wimbledon. Do anything for you?
I love Wimbledon. Yeah, I mean, it's
They've
a little early
switched-
on for me.
They've
I'll
switched
get
to
it in
the
a couple of-
electronic in and out system for the first time ever.
Well, let's explain that to us.
It's they just automatically tell if
there-
it's in or out.
It's from like robocalls?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so the
basically-
judges aren't making any calls.
The judges are still there,
Right.
but it's essentially
They're the
decided for them.
interpreter to the thing.
Do
but, yeah.
the judges are not making any calls? Or what do they
I
do? They're just
believe
hanging out?
they're there just to override something. It's more or less like the ABS system in baseball where the umps are still there, but like their decisions are kind of being made for them.
All right. I think I like that.
I typically do, but something about Wimbledon feels so like.
Well, I mean, it is the place where, oh my
school.
God, you got to wear white.
Prestige.
Right. This is where you're going to like use that.
Feels a
but
little off.
I think I like it though.
All right.
Depending on the accuracy of the software and everything, of course.
All right.
Sam in the chat is like making fun of you right now.
For what?
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
You're saying
I know, I always say
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. Wimbledon. I have an accent.
These Brits.
I know. Something weird I saw at the Jersey Shore this weekend.
Okay.
And I've never seen this in my life. I've been going to the Jersey Shore my entire life.
All right.
First, my girls called me down because a bunch of people huddled by the lifeguard stand. We were in Ocean City. And people were around a big conch shell with the conch still in it.
Oh, what's that look like?
You know what the conch shell
No, I know what a conch shell looks like, but is it all
like
gelatinous in there? Like a
it
snail?
looks
Like a big snail?
Yeah. You've never eaten conch?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, conch's good.
How have you had it?
Fritters, conch salad.
I had conch sushi, not good.
Oh,
I didn't
I
like
do that.
it was too
I don't know if I
rubbery.
do
Yeah,
raw.
it was too weird.
I don't know if I do raw.
When I was in the Bahamas in December,
raw conch doesn't sound good.
We got raw conch from this guy at a wood stand. Dude, he made a conch salad.
He's not going to be able to handle this conversation, dude.
What, conch?
Yeah.
Raw conch?
Yeah, he's out on the conch.
Well, the guy was just cutting up raw conch.
Yeah.
Mixed it with some onion, cilantro, a little bit of Sunny D was his secret ingredient.
Sunny D, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he tossed it all up and he served us a conch salad.
All right.
It was good.
Yeah. So what
Conch
was,
fritters are amazing.
what was happening on the beach? Just hanging out? Everyone's just watching
that one
it?
washed up.
How
and, like,
big is it?
I mean, I would say
Like-
the shell was like probably that big
All right, like 10.
and like that wide. Good girth on that conch.
Yeah. All right.
So I was like, that's weird. A conch shell at the Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
And then I'm walking down to the water with my oldest later, and I see these 3 teens walking by, and they have probably 10 to 11 conch shells filled with conchs in them.
What is going
You gotta
on?
grow up. We're talking conchs.
What is going on?
It's got to be. The water was 72 degrees. It's like August temperatures.
Okay.
In late June. I mean, I don't want to go.
Do they
turbo woke.
migrate?
I don't want to go turbo woke lib, but it feels like a result of climate change, doesn't it?
I've never seen a conch.
I've never seen a conch in
at a
my life.
beach.
at the
No, but
Jersey
do they?
Shore. And they were everywhere.
They were.
Dude, I saw these teens with 10 of them.
Do they float?
I
and
was
migrate?
seeing
Do they-
pictures
how
on
do they have
Instagram
ex-
of people's stories, and they had conchs in it.
What is going on? It's bizarre.
The migration.
Yeah, really strange stuff. So I just wanted to bring that up.
That's weird.
Isn't that strange?
Like, do they?
They need. I think they're a warm water creature. You know, you can't put a conch in cold water.
I guess this
Andrew,
happened
shrivel up.
This happened last year.
Yeah.
This happened last year in Atlantic City. Countless giant conch shells washed onto Atlantic City Beach.
It's bizarre, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Are they beautiful shells?
yeah, they're really pretty shells.
Yeah.
You've never seen a conch shell?
Not
That's like
really.
the one.
No, I know what they are. Like I've seen them like in stores and stuff, but
Yeah.
not one right out of the ocean.
It
Like,
was
I don't-
bizarre. Yeah,
Huh.
so I just jotted that down as a note.
Kids are just rolling around
Walking around with
handfuls of
conchs.
them.
I was like, I wanted to be like, are you guys gonna go home and make a conch salad? You gonna fry those bad boys up?
Oh, yeah.
And then the last one for you. Our man did it again last night.
Oh,
The big dumper goes yard.
Big
number 30
dumper.
Number 33 on the
I
year
love
for the
this
big
guy.
dumper. Cal Raleigh does it
It's over
again.
both sides of the plate.
Yeah.
There's a home run derby. He might go a little from each side.
Elite company for the big dumper.
Yeah, you can't see it,
Most
but
home runs through
he's got-
June 30th.
I think he's 4th all time, or he might be tied with Griffey for 3rd with 33. Yeah, he's tied
There
with
he is.
Sosa and Griffey Jr. for 33.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, catcher.
From a catcher.
Yeah.
What's his name? Perez? Salvador have the catcher all-time home run mark?
I don't know.
Because didn't he hit like 44
I would
or
think,
something?
did Johnny Bench ever do it back
I don't
in the
think
day?
he was putting up numbers like that.
No.
Pretty crazy. If the big dumper goes down, big dumper and
We're going
conch
from
salads.
conchs to the big dumper.
Yeah.
The comments right now are great.
Yeah,
in
we
chat.
good conch talk?
Good conch talk. Yeah.
Good. I love a little conch talk in overtime. Let's see what some of these comments are here. Let's see what the conch talk is. All right, Dante. Chill out, buddy.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah,
I'm not reading any of
I
them.
agree. The
No, I'm
conch
not
gets
re-
smaller in cold water. I was in the pool. I was in the pool. Salvi had 48, Dante says, after his perverted comment.
Okay.
Kevin Bloomfeld, when's Ant back? What, you don't like conch talk?
Come on, Kevin.
He'll be back. He's out next week with the fam, and then he'll be back. Grundle and conch talk. Fit Dad gets it.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for
Can
us
I just
today.
do one more?
I didn't know you had
floating spinner wheels blew my mind yesterday. I was just trying to enjoy my afternoon, relax, and these cars have these new rims.
Oh, that just keep spinning?
No, the complete opposite, and it is such
conchs on them?
a head trip, dude.
Is this VG original video?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish, dude. It is a head trip because
Miles Turner to Milwaukee, Rudy says in the chat.
The wheels don't move. The rims don't move.
Oh, so
and
it
you
looks like
can't
it's-
even process it until you see
visually,
it.
like looks like it's not moving.
It's crazy.
Jeez.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think we're good for now.
All right. That's going to do it for us today. Always good to catch up with Jim Salisbury. Thanks to Derek Bodner for joining the show. Thanks to our friends at Bet Parks, right there on Street Road in Ben Salem. Easy to get to from everywhere. Visit them. They got a great Excite Center. They got great restaurants. They got everything you want. Oh, right there in Ben Salem. But Miles Turner, it looks like he's going to the Bucks there. So make sure you're tuning into the Sixers show at 3 today. They'll be recapping all the free agency moves. Yabusele gone.
And Flyers, in case they're just shopping off
Flyers
news.
are coming up in 45 minutes, right as free agency opens. We'll see if we get the Ruski here in Philadelphia.
Oh,
I would
please,
imagine
let's
Michkov
go.
would be pumped, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
those
go.
boys.
Just have someone to converse with. And
They can
stuff?
go down the shore and play with all the conchs. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks to Andrew Frazier behind the scenes. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.